Life's a ride, so let's make it count. Cherish every moment, that's what it's about. Tune in, together we're building our groove. Every beat, every laugh, we're ready to move. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave the troubles behind. This podcast is gold, the treasure you'll find. With every word, we'll light up your day. Join the conversation, let's laugh all the way. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave your troubles behind. This podcast is gold, a treasure you'll find. Life's a ride, so let's make it count. Cherish every moment, that's what it's about. Tune in, together we're building our groove. Every beat, every laugh, we're ready to move. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high.
Good Lord. I like that song so much I wanted to hear it twice. Sorry, y'all. Good morning! Good morning, morning. How is everybody today? Good to see you all here. Thank you for joining me. Yo. What's happening, everybody? I hope you're having a great day, and it is great to see you all here. Thank you for joining me this morning. Mama Bear has apartments today. Sorry, I was loud. I don't know if she'll be here after the fact or she won't. I don't know, but she'll be here. Maybe not. Either way, you're stuck with me and my loud ass voice. Good morning and hello. How are we today? Thank you for joining us. The black eye is fading, as we can see. Now it's just the bags. You're stuck with the bags. And yes, I just put a little bit of the wife's makeup on there because it really is turning crappy looking. So whatever. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Let's do this thing. Let's see what's going on in the world around us today. Who do we have with us so far? It's our B. Thank you for joining me. Mikey's in the house. The last 24. Good to see you, Poppy. Cammy Q Tips in the house. What's going on, Cammy? Good to see you. Miss Stormy, welcome back. Sassy Cassie and her sassy ass in the house. Good to see you. Say that 5 times fast. Yeah. All right. Eddie's in the house. Welcome back, brother. Good to see you. One made none. Welcome back, my friend. Let me see here. Miss Paula. Good morning, Miss Paula Fitzhenry. Good to see you. Always a pleasure to have you here, guys. Please, if you will, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you have not yet. If you haven't, what's wrong with you? Hit that notification bell and share this out. Miss Trish Crow, welcome back to you. Good to see you this morning. Brady B, my OG. What's happening, sis? Good to see you today. Thank you for joining me. Come on in, guys. Share this out. Let everybody know what we're doing. Come on in. So the topic of the entire chat right now is what cup of coffee is Dago on right now? This is what you guys talk about. This is hilarious. Let's see how many we have here that are talking about this. Uh-oh. Eddie says there's a new baseball bat taking the MLB by storm. Uh-oh. What is that all about? What is that, Eddie? We're going to have to find out. Please, yes, please listen to Miss Stormy. Please make sure to leave just a little bit of DNA on that like button, if you will, please, and thank you. I appreciate you so very much. Miss Cammy Q, it's wonderful to see you. It's been a minute. Great to have you here. Brian, the Bri guys in the house. What is happening? Good to see you, sir. Look, guys, look. He's back on the... I'm back in the coffee. I'm always on the coffee. What do you mean back in it? I don't ever get out of it. Unless I run out, of course. But Miss Zelda made sure that wasn't going to happen. So I'm beyond grateful. And I'm drinking today. This is Sister Hazelnut. It's good. They're all good. Every one of them is good. There's a blueberry one. I would have never imagined that blueberry coffee would be good. Wrong. Wrongo. It's so good. Good golly, Miss Molly's in the house. Good to see you, Molly. Thank you for being here. God, how are you doing? Yes. Molly. Hi, Molly. So, guesses on what cup this is? Anyone? I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a little hint. I woke up at 4:30. Go from there. Nope, not 10. Not quite, but no. Nope. Nope. More than that. Oh my God, no. Never heard of that, but it sounds interesting. Nope. Not quite. Jesus, Molly. No, I'd be standing on my head, scratching the ceiling with my toenails if I had 20 cups of coffee by now. 2014's in the house, says number 7. Nope. We have a winner. Bing. There we go, guys. Number 6. Thank you, Cassie. 20 cups of coffee, Molly. Can you imagine? Me? Oh, no. Like I said, I'd be standing on my head, scratching the ceiling with my toenails. There's no way. Nope. No. Too much. I don't drink that much, though, you guys. This isn't strong. I drink the lightweight stuff. It's not strong. And I water it down sometimes if it does come out to be strong. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I used to do that, Trish, back in the day. When we were at the fire department, that's all we drank was coffee. There was nothing else to drink. Yeah, I'd be cutting the yard with scissors. That's a very good point there, Cassie. When I was with the fire department, I could probably go because we didn't have K cups back then. I could very easily probably vacuuming the driveway. Yes. You're right on that one too. That's great. The Mr. Coffee pot is what, or no, it wasn't Mr. Coffee. It's that big silver, the bun. That's what we had. And the coffee pot was about that big. Okay. We had the big one. I could probably myself back those days, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I could probably drink 4 of those pots a day without fail. That was backing down too. I would just drink it all day nonstop. And then I went from that to Mountain Dew, where I would drink, I told you guys, 2 liters a day, possibly, especially if it was hot outside. I would rather have that than the coffee. Because iced coffee wasn't real popular back then. That is too funny, vacuuming the driveway. I love that, Cass. And then I started to get a little, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh shit, that's probably not good. So I stopped drinking coffee for like 4 years. None. Every now and then I would have a cup of decaf because I like the taste of it for breakfast or something, right? And I stopped drinking Mountain Dew. I started drinking Pepsi. And then the Pepsi became another problem. It's obvious that I have issues, folks, problems with addiction things, I always overdo it, which is why I quit drinking. Going on 7 years. Horse TV's in the house. Welcome, Walt. Thank you for joining us. Um, Stormy. So, oh, Molly, I'm sorry. Are you okay? For a few months? Good God, dearie. No. And then one day I can't remember where the hell, I was at my mother-in-law's house and they offered me a cup of coffee and I was like, you know what? Sure, let's have one. And it was just like an addict, truly like an addict. As soon as I drank that cup, I said, can I have another? And she said, sure. And I had another. And I said, can I have another one? There was three. And my wife looked at me and went, what the hell are you doing? I said, nothing. This is good. And it had been like 4 years. And from that day forward, here we are. Me and my buddy. Yep, yep, yep. Walter. Kick, hell no. Kick. What are we talking about? Kick. What it do? What it do? What it do, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate you guys very much. Didn't see anybody last night. The wife was home last night. We did some more of our spring cleaning. If you were to see me right now, I'm surrounded. You can't really see it because of the camera stuff, but right there is a stack on my table behind me there of toys. Spring cleaning is recommenced. This room now. If you can look through, right there is a stack of things that's leaving the house. Our fan is there, but that other boxes and stuff, everything is being moved out. Windows, cleaning. Um, Good to see everyone. My blood pressure went up to 160/90 for 4 to 5 years straight. So once I got on blood pressure medication, they shut down the caffeine. Okay. Thank you, Walt, for the info. I don't know what that means. I think I'm confused, but that's okay. And I hope you are too, Miss Paul. I hope you have an amazing day. Please, sir, may I have some more? Yes. Might I have another, please, and thank you. You like soft drinks? You don't like hard drinks then, okay. So do you like them fluffy and fuzzy or just like poofy and soft that way, horse? Which way does it go for you? Uh, Pop is also good. Yes. So you say pop, not you can tell you're from the East Coast and up north here. You can tell this horse guy here is from the Northeast. He says pop, not soda. Molly likes it floofy. Floofy. The description of floofy. Horses drink water. This is true. From a trough. I like this drink. Pink grapefruit juice. A couple shots tequila and a splash of Splenda. Oh, that sounds good. My wife would love that. I used to drink the grapefruit juice like it was going out of style back in the day, but the acid kills me now because of my acid reflux. Same with cranberry juice. I used to love that too, but again, yes, fresh water. Do you drink from a stream or a lake or a river or it sounds great. Depending on what kind of tequila you use, Miss Trish. Let me see. Type in the chat what type of tequila you would use, and we'll see if we're friends or not. That's what we'll do here. There's two types of tequila you cannot type in that chat. If you do it, I cannot be friends with you. But if you do the right one, we'll be friends. Just ice water. What the absolute hell, Cassie? There's a friend of the family who has camels. One of them drank Pepsi from a bottle. Did it store it in one of its humps? Sundrop soda is a southern thing. Yeah, isn't that like their version of Mountain Dew? Just like Mellow Yellow, Eddie. No, they're up. I want to see what Trish says. This is a good one. Not the coconut, but that Patron. Yes, 1800. I have a picture somewhere. I'll find it. Baby boy. Yes, Mountain Dew. That's what I thought. Yeah, that and Mellow Yellow. Grapefruit soda is Sundrop. Is it like Squirt? Then right? That's what Squirt is grapefruit soda. I hoot when I'm wired. Hoot hoot like an owl, Brian. Is that what you're saying, sir? Or I'm a hoot. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Patron. Bing, 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 bing. We're friends, Trish. We are friends. Patron is very good. Also, my favorite for the longest time was Cabo Wabo or Cabo. You know what I mean? Cabo, the blue bottle. I love that. My wife and I both. Christy Nevada's in the house. Welcome back, dear. Good to see you, Surge. I've never had that, nor heard of it. I don't think. Ooh, excuse me. You guys remember Jolt Cola back in the day? When we were kids, we could drink a can and probably climb 5 trees, one after another, or climb to the top of a 60-story building. I drank 1 can of that. My mother said, "You are never allowed to have that again," because being that I was ADHD, you would imagine that it would have mellowed me out. Nope. I actually got sick from it. Surge is. Oh, I have seen that. Yes, I've seen that. Stormy. That's kind of like a Mountain Dewy type stuff, isn't it? I still wonder what was in the penny draft set pogos. Probably piss horse. For as much as I drank of that. Yeah. Good morning, Miss Denise. I'm gonna have to say that was horse piss. Excuse the phrasing, but it was urine. There was a bar that my band acts where I met the Creature, the first wife, as was at Pogo's. It was on campus of YSU campus, and my band played there all the time back in the day. That's how I met her. And they would do, I think it was Thursday nights was penny draft night. Can you imagine? And we would get a cup, one of the little red solo cups, and they had numbers on the bottom they would write. Okay. And they had to go through probably 5 to 10 kegs a night. I'm probably exaggerating, but guys, it was a campus, mind you, it was a college campus. And I'm telling you, that place was packed and people were flowing out the doors in summertime, but it was always packed, always packed. Penny draft night. And of course, they made their money on their shots because they would bump everything up. But remember the 2 old guys? Yes. Yes, I do. I was bounced by them a few times. Spark. I've heard of that, Molly. Oh, we got a baby here. I'm telling you, her and Cassie are the babies here. We had parties like that in high school back in 88. Yeah. Fresca. And there's Phil. Good morning, Phil. You gonna make me laugh today, please? Fresca and Sammy Hagar's Cabo Wabo tequila. Oh, I don't know about the Fresca, but yes, the Cabo Wabo tequila was the shit. It was the smoothest tequila I ever had. I loved it. Tito's? Isn't Tito's vodka though? My sister drinks that. Do they do tequila too? What's up, Critical? Good to see you today. I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. I know my sister drinks Tito's. Under and over it. Good morning, afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is for you. Thank you for being here with us. High school, 88. Yeah, I miss high school sometimes. Fresca. I couldn't do Fresca, Phil. I tried it. It is so gross to me. The aftertaste it leaves. Mezcal with the worm. I've had that before. I've had that. Mezcal, though. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, you're giving me bad flashbacks there. Thank you much, man. Mezcal is so bad. It's so bad. It is so bad. Ugh. Thinking about it, I'm telling you right now, it's bringing back bad memories. Ugh. Mezcal and what's that other cheap one? I've drank them all. That silver, they had silver and gold. Another tequila. It's cheap. It's cheap, cheap, cheap for sure. Patron and 1800. Um, those are the next to Cabo is the best. Still love it. Hated it as a child. Grew to love Fresca. I can't. I haven't had it a long time, but I remember the aftertaste killed me. Tito's tequila and vodka. Oh, okay. So they do make them both. Okay, good to know. I was making sure I was right. The narcissist shit, nastiest shit I ever drank is a tie between Everclear and Black Label. Something I think it had black in the name. Was it thing with the big monster on it? The Black Kraken. Ugh, that's nasty too. 1800, yes. Cuervo, thank you. Whoa. Cuervo and Mezcal are the worst. That's like scraping the gas tank. I swear to God. And whatever's left in the gas tank, you dump into a glass, and there you go. Everclear, we drank that back in the day. It was illegal here in Ohio. We had to go over the PA line to get it. From my understanding, it's illegal in PA now too. Mad Dog. Oh no, Christy, no. No. Mm-mm. That was high school. Those were the high school pukies. Banana red and grape Mad Dog. I can still taste. That's so. Oh God. And then Wild Irish Rose, Black Velvet. I don't know. It is nasty, but I lived on that stuff. When I was broke, I would drink that. When I had money, I would drink. I've said this before to you guys. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, if I didn't have a whole lot of money, I drank Black Velvet. If I was okay, in between pays or whatever, I drank Corona or not Corona. Jesus criminy. The shit that comes in the purple bag. You know what I'm talking about. That was my drink for years. Thunderbird. Oof. Oh my God, Stormy. Ooh. Yeah, you can. That taste never goes away, you guys. The Mad Dog and the Wild Irish Rose and Thunderbird. Ooh. Cuervo Silver is as harsh as me. Yes, it is. But gold, it's the gold is probably the best out of all of those. I'll be honest. You're right, Phil. I knew that was coming. Thunderbird. White Lightning. Not Corona, Christy. That's the beer. I don't like beer. I never did. If I drank beer, it was probably Bud Light. No, it's a whiskey. It comes in a purple bag. What the hell is it called? Bourbon. I drank it forever. That's the thing that made me quit drinking. There we go. Thank you, Denise. Crown Royal. That was my thing. If I was okay and had the money I needed, that's what I drank. Now, when I was in between pays or whatever, if I would go from that to Black Velvet. How about that mess? Nasty. Goldschlager. I remember them days. You're close enough. Goldschlager. I drank that. Another one I was a big fan of. I even had I think I told you before, the freezer for it. The thing for I can't think to save my life. Tells you how long it's been since I've drank anything. BB and Coke. Oh yeah, I drank the hell out of those, Molly. Michelle Apple, hello. Glad to have you here today, dear. Jaeger, thank you. Yes. We had the Jaeger machine that would freeze it. I loved me some Jaeger, buddy. Oh my God. Yes, I did. And the Italian version of that, I drank all the time too. It's clear. It's almost like an ouzo. It's got that licorice taste to it too. I can't remember the hell of the name of that either. Sambuco. There we go. Jaeger bombs. I did. I drank Jaeger bombs. I drank Bouncing Betty's. I've drank all the Jaeger things you can drink. It's all good, horse. It's all good. I'll tell you right now, though, the Red Bull didn't work. Mm-mm. Sambuca, Alessandra Gosiner. Yes, Sambuca. I loved it. I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. My wife's grandmother's bar bought Sambuca and put it on the shelf just for me. Mini beers. Oh my God. Those were fun. Those were fun. Anybody ever had a Three Wise Men? It's a shot. Ooh, that was a bad night. That they were called that, Mikey, smartass. It was the Jaeger thing. I can't remember what the hell that was mixed with, but it was called a bouncing Betty, I think. Jaeger bombs were like contraception. Yeah. Yes, Cassie's the youngest, and then I think it goes from her to Stormy. Sambuca. That was my favorite for a long time. Oh, we had one. I had the one that held 2 bottles here, and then it had the tap down in the front. I didn't pay for it. I got it for free because my wife's grandmother owned a bar. But you could put 2 of the bottles in it side by side, and it kept it ice cold. I love that thing. Oh, I love that thing. And then my basement was I had a remodeled basement with carpeting and furniture and refrigerator and TV and all that foosball and all that shit in my basement. So we would have parties at our house back in the day, and that machine was super popular. Everybody, and I started telling people because everybody would drink the Jaeger because it was just a thing. The machine was all lit up, nice and pretty, and everybody wanted. I'm like, all right, look, y'all. I don't mind sharing this stuff, but this stuff ain't cheap. So you guys are drinking. I would go through a party. I'd go through 2 bottles in a party, and those bottles were like this. Okay, I'm like, you guys are gonna have to start like bringing a bottle with you to replace. I said, I can't keep like giving this to you guys for nothing. It's not cheap. And it's funny because everybody stopped drinking it then. How about that? Thank you, Stormy, guys. Please check out Mikey's channel, The Last 24. You won't be disappointed. Miss Wisdom Speaks his channel as well. Guys, keep your Miss Wisdom in your prayers. She's still not feeling real good. Please and thank you. I appreciate that so very much. That would mean everything. And of course, our Mama Bear. You cannot forget Mama Bear's channel. Please and thank you. Appreciate you guys very much. What a collection of wet brains and burgeoning alcoholics. Hey, I really have found my somewhere over the. Yeah. Yep. We're all at that age, Bill, you know. Like I said, I had a lot of good times back in them days. I don't miss it though, you guys. I don't miss drinking, not even a little bit. I don't. It's probably the best thing I ever did. 7 years I'm going on, you guys. And nothing to anybody still drinks. My wife still does. I just don't miss it. So many bad times too. Hangovers were horrible. My mama used to drink the White Russians. She did. Johnny Walker. That was some expensively good stuff though. I did drink Jack for a little bit, and I did drink Jim Beam for a little bit too. I even drank some of that gross ass, what was it, Jim Beam Red Stag or something. It had like a sweet taste to it. It was so, yeah. And then Crown started coming out with their flavors, and I quit drinking right before they dropped the Peach Crown, which is the one I wanted to try. The flavors, I didn't do the flavors. There was some vanilla stuff and something else. That's just gross. You don't put sweetness in bourbon or whiskey. You just don't do it. Hello, Miss Karen. Thank you for joining us. That's exactly it, Miss Karen. Kent Kearney, hello. Molly, stop swearing. Stop swearing. Mad Dog 2020 Cucka. 7. What is that? I can't tell what that is. 7 coin. 7. I don't know. Welcome, Kent. Either way, I like your avatar there. But Elvis Presley, the king. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. 41 peeps in the house. 27 likes. Guys, see if we can make that match a little bit better, please. And thank you. I tasted an Irish whiskey. Oh, Jameson's. Oof. I liked Jameson's too. Very good. 7 and 7. Okay. My aunt drank that. I tried it every now and again. Denise, July will be 10 years sober for me. Absolutely. Congrats. Me either. 1 year alcohol free, and it's great. Yes, ma'am. Congrats and God bless. I'm proud of you, Denise. Proud of you. That's amazing. And you too, Stormy. Very proud of you. So I'm going on 7 years. And you know what, you guys? It was the easiest thing I ever did. It was. It was no, and I was bad. I was very bad. Very bad with it. I just was done one day and I said, that's it. I'm over this. I'm done. Never touched it again. Ever have a stoplight? Nope, Molly, I can't say that I have. Yes, that is absolutely amazing. 10 years, that is absolutely amazing, Stormy. God bless. Very proud of you. Some people it's easy for. Some people it's not easy at all. But I'm 7 years. For me, 10 years is amazing. 1 year is absolutely amazing. God bless each and every one of you that has ever conquered that. I don't care if it's alcohol, drugs, pills, weed, whatever the hell it is. I'm not saying weed, but you're amazing. And you are a hero to me. Thank you, under and over it. Bloody Marys. I used to like those too. I liked it. I liked alcohol, period. Just be honest with you, I did. Haven't drank anything in 20 years because my wife thought I was an annoying drinker. I could see that. It's not easy. Nope. I had the same problem. I have an addictive personality, you guys, hence my coffee addiction and cigarettes and all that stuff. So when I about broke my back, per se, of course, I was on pain medication. That became an issue for 12 years. I handled that. And then when I handled that, I moved on to the alcohol. So you know how that goes. Yes, I have my whole family has the addictive personalities. My grandfather he drank too much and he was a gambler. My grandmother was an alcoholic. My mom had the tendencies to be an alcoholic, but she didn't. She stopped before it got to that point. Both my aunts had issues with pain medications and alcohol. So, wow, Jaeger was heroin D. What? Brian? I always understood that heroin was made out of Jaeger was made from what the hell is that called? It's black something. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. I don't know. Sugar addiction took over now, weaning off heart. It is. It is. I agree with that one, Denise. It is. Same with my family. Yeah. It's just that when you know it's in the family, you got to watch. My grandma, dad, mom, brother, and son are alcoholics along. Yeah, see? It runs in families, guys. It's a thing. Yes, 12 years. For me, pain medication, 12 years. Nonstop. My doctor was a script writer. That's all he did. Never tried to finish it. Anisette anise plant. Thank you, Phil. Absinthe. Oh, I had that before too. That's the one that about knocked my wife into another generation. Oh wow, Trish, I gotcha. Anybody that has conquered any form of addiction, God bless you. You are a hero. And I'm telling you, don't let anybody tell you any different. I'm proud of you. And um, keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. I'm recovering from a trolling addiction. It's about, I bet you are. It was in my family. Wow. Jesus, Stormy. My grandmother died from dementia brought on by alcoholism. Yeah, the hangovers were no joke. That's what pushed me to stop. I just couldn't handle it anymore. Bartending made me hate drinking. Been 10 years now, but can still have a drink. I can't even smell it anymore, you guys. It makes me sick. It makes me sick. Yes, that is absolutely amazing, Stormy. 10 years is amazing. Like I said, 1 year is amazing. 6 months is amazing. Anybody that has the ability and the want to kick an issue like that, that is amazing. Oh. Hold on here. AMF. Half an ounce of vodka, half an ounce of rum, half an ounce of tequila, half an ounce of gin, half an ounce of blue Karake. I never could say that. Caraco, 2 ounces of sweet and sour mix, Sprite or 7 Up on top. Almost sounds like a Long Island or something. Ugh. That's a lot, Molly. Yuff. Yuff, yuff, yuff. Guys, make sure that we throw some prayers and thoughts towards our Miss Alicia, too. She hasn't been here in a couple of days because one of her little ones got sick. So please keep her in your thoughts and prayers, too. Please and thank you if you would. My dad has had a liver. Wow. I hope he's doing okay under and over it. That's amazing. Just can't get into the smell. Yeah, it kills it for me too. You can say it. I just saw that and I'm grateful to see that. That is amazing. Grateful to see that. It's been a rough couple days for them. God bless them. Poor little guy. That was rough. So just make sure you keep Miss Alicia in your thoughts and prayers too and her family. Hopefully everything stays on the up and up and everything's good. I have learned to drink responsibly. See, I couldn't never do that, Trish. I tried that. It never worked for me. I would say to myself, hey, I'm going to have 1 or 2 and I'm done. Didn't happen. Every time. A bottle later. Yes, absolutely. That's amazing. That's amazing. Oh, I understand, Molly. All right, y'all. Let's see what we got going on in the world today. Now that we've all put all our alcohol stuffs out there. I guess there was, I don't know if there still is, but active shooter standoff with SWAT this morning. One moment here. Also, for those of you that are familiar with the crazy woman that kept her stepson captive in the home for 20 some years, there's some stuff on that we're going to review. Yeah, they shut down 3 schools. Oh, you're okay. Don't worry about that stuff. Guys, don't ever worry about typing in caps in here. I do it everywhere I go because I can't see. So I don't expect people. I don't know why people get so upset about that. That's dumb. Just type however you got to type, guys. Don't worry about that. Please do. Let me check something here as we get moving. By the way, again, thank you all for joining me today. It is a wonderful to start my day off with all of you. Oh, I guess JLR put it out. There was an active shooter situation, Baltimore County, Maryland. 3 schools shut down over this. It was a standoff with SWAT. That's how I type. I can't see it if I don't. I need new glasses. That's why. But let's see. There's nothing new on this that I'm not putting him up there. So 1 minute. Nope. Oh, okay. Here we go. I'll show you guys a little clip on this. Give me a second. This is where it was. This is from 3 hours ago. I don't have anything new on this as of right now. Right? I agree, Miss Denise. I agree. Yes, there will be no cameras in the Rachel Morin trial. Anybody that wants to watch it, well, I'm sorry. Buenos dias, Miss Amy. Hello. Great to have you all here today again. Yeah, there's nothing new here. Let me check. Hold on. Sorry, guys. That's hilarious that you said that, Eddie. It drives me nuts too, but it reminds me of something. Back in the day, everybody knows I collect GI Joe action figures. Okay, right? So, Barbara was found that same night. Amy, she's fine. Everything's good to go. So thank you for asking. Appreciate that. And again, I appreciate everybody that was worried and that was helping with that situation. But everything's good to go, and she's good. So, yes, I collect GI Joe action figures, and there was a cartoon that was out years ago, and in the comics for GI Joe. They're the bad guys. There was a guy named Serpentor. He was the evil leader. Okay. Every time he would say something, it reminds me of it. Every time I have a flashback, he would state something and then he would yell out, "This I command." Okay. Every time Hitler says that, that's exactly where it takes me to. And it's so funny to me because it's a cartoon. Okay. But it reminds me of it to know it every time, Eddie. So it's funny you brought that up. I was just thinking that the other day. Yes, they're action figures, guys. Don't let Cassie tell you any different. They're action figures. I don't believe this is happening. 5 schools shut down now because of this. I briefly watched a YouTuber I don't watch, but so yeah, yep. There's 2 that had it up, and everything's on lockdown still. It's unbelievable. So anybody that's in that area, please be safe. Please be careful. Oh my God, Cassie said action figures. Did you hit your head today, sis? Um, um, but yeah, Eddie, that absolutely reminded me of that. It's hilarious. And again, Amy, Barbara's fine. Everything's good. Thank you for asking. I'm grateful for that as well. Let me see. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. I'm not paying attention to that stuff, Cassie. Now, the other situation, like I said, that I wanted to bring to you, the one with the woman that kept her stepson captive. There's some updates on that I was going to share with you guys. Hang on here. One second. Plus some other stuff in the Lori Vallow stuff that's going on. Give me a minute here. My downloads are doing their stupid everything they do, as always. You know what? I'm not even going to do that. Hang on a minute here. Here we go. Okay. Where are we at now? Come on. Please. Here we go. Okay. Vinny and Court GB put something out on this. And so did Long Crime. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Boom. Give me a second, guys. Kimberly Sullivan. That's her name. The monster. All right, let's see what Vinny's got to say about this situation. This situation still blows my mind how this even happened, but all right.
And confine him in a room for over 2 decades, at times getting like the case of Kimberly Sullivan, who's married to a man. She has a stepson. At age 11, they remove him from society and confine him in a room for over 2 decades, at times getting like 1 minute in the backyard. Well, that 11-year-old grew up and is 32 years old and is only 68 pounds and figured out a way to escape. His father died, but he was still being held, allegedly, by his stepmother. So he sets a fire so people will respond and literally save him. Yes, from the fire, but really from his stepmother. Take a look at some of the video from that night when the fire was set and the emergency responders, the first responders and police came to the house and saved that young man.
Come over here, go down the road. Come on, come down, come down.
Come on down.
Who else is in the house? Who else is in here?
My stepson is in here. I'm
many
trying to
other
help him out.
people? Listen,
That's it. I have 2 cats.
Everybody's out?
Yes.
Oh, your stepson's still inside?
Yeah, he's right here.
Okay,
yes.
come out, come down the road. Come on, come on. It's not safe to stay here. Come on. It's not safe to stay
All right, my dog is
Come on.
shaking.
I know. Come down here. West Street, 87 code 33, victim. Fire victim. Come on.
My
87's
dog
right here.
is,
Come on.
my dog.
I know, come on.
I'm coming.
You seen it? One victim right here. You can stay over here.
And that night, they saved his life in more ways than one. And they didn't even realize it at the time. Unbelievable story. Well, that woman, that evil stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan, was in court today. And Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas joining us live with the latest on today's hearings. And I'm hearing there were some statements that were read today, pretty powerful statements that were read.
Absolutely, Vinny. So today's court hearing was not only her arraignment, but it also revolved around a state's motion to modify conditions of release because she was arrested on March 12th, just about 2 weeks ago, and posted bond the following day. So she's been out freely walking around for the past 2 weeks. Now, before we get to those statements, I just want to establish what she's facing, the charges she's facing, and how much she's facing behind bars. So her charges include first-degree assault, a felony, second-degree kidnapping, a felony, first-degree unlawful restraint, another felony, cruelty to persons, and first-degree reckless endangerment, which are both misdemeanors. And in all total, Vinny, she's facing 45 years on those 3 felonies alone, plus 2 years for both of those misdemeanors, so 47 years total. Now, back to those statements. Today, during this court appearance, the state presented statements from the victim himself and also from a friend of Kimberly Sullivan who said she didn't even know that Sullivan had a stepson. Take a listen to these statements.
This victim is afraid.
Thanks,
This
Carmen.
victim lives in fear. I introduced myself to the victim, explained who I was. His first question.
Yes, Denise. Yeah, we were going to talk about that today too. But thank you for bringing that in here. She's not lying, you guys. You'll see here shortly. It's crazy, crazy.
In this fear is why is she out walking around when I was locked up in a room for 20 years? He is following this on TV and social media, so he is aware of what's happening. And I say that because it would lead to his fear. A friend of the defendants of 21 years has come forward and provided a written statement to the state, to the police, that in the 21 years she's known this defendant, she's never spoken of a stepson. She was shocked to learn she had a stepson, and that friend was never allowed in this house.
Absolutely astonishing there, Vinny. You know somebody for 21 years and they don't even mention they have a stepson, and that's around the amount of time that he was held captive and essentially
Living in the house.
In the house.
Living in their house.
And essentially the state was arguing today for the conditions of release that she be put on house arrest so she could have limited travel, also with a GPS monitor. That's pretty much what the state was arguing for today.
And how about the defense? What did they say about her remaining at large?
So the defense is pretty much saying in the past 2 weeks, she's complied with all the rules set forth by the court. That she's not a flight risk. The defense also says their whole job with her is to protect her rights. And they say her rights are the only ones that matters in this particular case. Take a listen.
This is the third time we are back addressing the same issues. Bond has been set. Conditions of release have been addressed by the court. The state made essentially the same arguments on prior occasions, which were considered by the court and rejected. And I understand that the whole world wants to convict Ms. Sullivan, and the whole world already has. But this is the only place, the only room in this country where we have an opportunity to protect her rights.
What rights were protected for the prisoner she kept for 20 plus years? I don't. What? Dude.
So, Vinny, that defense attorney goes on to pretty much argue that those conditions of release were already set 2 weeks ago once she was arrested, and they don't want the judge to double back on everything that was already set.
All right, well, this case moving forward, she is like public enemy number one.
Absolutely.
I mean,
As she
what
should
this
be.
young man went through from age 11. Cody Thomas, thank you so much. We have a special guest joining us now. The biological mother of the victim in this case, Tracy.
You know what, Mikey? That would be amazing. 100%. 100%. That would be great, bro. That would absolutely be amazing, dude. CJ Sky, welcome. Absolutely. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Stormy, I truly wouldn't. Looking at, and I'm going to show you guys some interior pictures of this place here in a minute. There's no call for this. No call for this whatsoever. Any of this. None at all. So this woman deserves nothing nice. And this guy deserves anything he can possibly have happen to him in a good way. He's lost out on 20 plus years of his life. You guys, it's insane. It's insane.
Tracy Valorand is here. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us. I know this is not easy to talk about. I know how heartbreaking all of this is, but do you know tonight how he's doing?
I don't. I do not. As long as it's an ongoing investigation, he is going to be kept private. And I know he's in a better place right now, so that's what matters.
It'd be difficult for there to be a worse place. And it's great to see that he was able to get out of there. Let's back this whole thing up. How did this happen? How was it that he somehow, the first time I covered this story, I know there were teachers at one point that were very concerned about his well-being. You're his mom. So how, from your perspective, how did all this happen to him?
His father shut me out. And then after a while, he actually shut everybody out. Now, I don't know I know when his father and myself were together, he was not a bad guy. I don't know if he was vindictful that we had split up. I don't know. I'm still trying to grasp all this, and it's really, really, really hard. When DCF was called in 2004 several times, they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. And just because you have a clean house does not mean you have a healthy house.
Oh, you don't even have a clean house.
Parents are supposed to help their children be the best people that they can, grow into responsible adults.
I agree. I agree. I've wondered from the beginning, because I heard stories that sometimes when the stepmother wasn't home, that the father would allow him to come out and have some free time, out of the room, so on and so forth. And then we heard that the father was in a wheelchair and then he died. And I had to wonder, did the wicked stepmother, did she maybe end his life for him, help him end his life per se, in a bad way, not a good way? They definitely should be looking into his death, in my opinion. Okay, definitely. And I'm not doubting that there's something weird there. Something ain't right. I think that this woman took control of everything, including the father. Okay, changed him. It sounds to me like kept him away from other people. he cut ties in his life, and then his own son, you know. And I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm just saying I wonder how much control she had over this entire family and the entire life of all of them. So yeah, I got you, Mike. I got you. This is just crazy, guy, and I hope that they do look into his death a little bit more, and maybe they find something, because I don't put it past this evil person. This is an evil, like pure evil, in my opinion. Pure evil.
Not lock them in a room.
So through the years, the separation that you had from him, so what happened? Give us a little bit of the backstory of how you became separated and any efforts that you made to try to reconnect with your son.
I had some issues I was dealing with personally that have nothing to do with the Sullivans. There's just so much stuff that was happening beforehand. We started dating, and after we started dating, we got married. And 9 months later, my son was born. Well, I was still going through some of those issues at the time and trying to cope with those issues. I thought the safest place he would be was with a parent, with his father. And that didn't happen.
And if you are struggling, right, and then
she's got a lot of guilt. You can just read this. This is, and I understand. Okay, I get it. She's got a lot of guilt she's dealing with. You can't, in my opinion, regardless of what this woman's issues were, whether it was drugs or whatever it was, she was trying to do the right thing by her child by handing him off to the father. It's obvious that this child would have been better off in foster care, probably. Okay. And so, yeah, she's definitely pushing the guilt here, in my opinion. I can see it. Hey, Circus, good to see you. You don't, I don't know. And it's stated that she tried to find him and that they kept him hidden from her, from the world, basically, in a sense. And the fact that he even existed still, which is crazy. It is crazy. So I don't know.
That he may be able to take care of your son. That was the right choice to make. That's the choice. That's the selfless choice that a mother makes who wants the best for their child.
So. You would think so. He was kept with monsters.
Did you ever meet Kimberly Sullivan?
I have never met her.
Now, I understand through the years you attempted to reconnect with your son.
I did.
And what happened?
Well, when he used to take my son for walks, I was told where he would take him, and I'd hang out there, and I'd wait for hours and hours. He wouldn't show up. One of my ex-brother-in-laws got a job with me, and we started talking about my son, and he's like, well, let me see if I can arrange to have him come over. So I go over there for a couple hours and never showed up. Never showed up.
How about when he became an adult, right? Because he's 32 now.
He is 32. He just turned 32.
How curious were you about how he was doing and where he was?
From the time he turned 18, we started looking for him because he should have been an adult. He should have been in school, out having a job, falling in love. He should have been able to be a person.
Tracy, when you heard this story, how long did it take for you to put the pieces together and realize that it was your son that was saved? Your son that was able to escape from all of this?
My sister had called me and told me we found him. Finally found him.
Do we know this guy's name? Has anybody found his name? I have not been able to find his name. They've kept this out of the media from the beginning, and I cannot find what this guy's name is. I'm sure they've done it on purpose because they don't want anybody, approaching him, so on and so forth. But I have no idea what this man's name is. All I know is the father's last name is Sullivan. I'm guessing his name is too. Cannot figure his name for the life of me. I've tried.
Take your time, Tracy. Now, my understanding from what we heard in court is that your son may be following some of the developments of this story, maybe watching news reports like this about the story. If he's watching now, or if he watches this when it's posted online, do you have a message for your son?
I'm sorry he had to go through this.
He was failed by everyone, the system, in my opinion, his teachers. They said that they tried to do things and then they just gave up. You don't give up on a situation like that. I think everybody failed him. I agree. Every single person failed him. And that is horrible to me. This is a human being that had nobody, folks. Nobody loved him. Nobody cared. He has now his sisters that have reached out, and everybody he has a family that wants to love him and wants to be close to him. But I'm sure he's got to wonder in his mind, where have you all been? You know what I mean? And I don't know how he's going to take to that. Is he going to believe that people were trying to find him? That's going to be hard from what he's been through, where he's at now in life. I'm just saying, I don't blame him if he feels some kind of a way about this, because how is he expected to feel, That's I mean, I agree with you guys. I get what she was trying to do, thinking giving him to the father was okay. What's up, Steven? Here's the problem though. You fix the situation and you go back to the child. You don't stop. You don't give up. You fight against the system, whatever you got to do to be a parent to your child, in my opinion. And some people just don't have that. They don't do it. So I don't know what to say.
He shouldn't have had to do that ever. He shouldn't have had to deal with that. And he could have been taken out of that in 2004 if DCF did their job.
Right, Phil. Good. And I will say, I think everyone failed him. And I agree with her on that, though. DCF or DCHS, whatever, they completely dropped the ball on this, and they need to be looked into for this as well. That's my opinion.
Tracy, what are What are your hopes and plans now for the future, now that he's escaped the torture and is recovering?
I'm so happy that he did. I want him to do whatever he wants to do. If he wants to go to school, go back to school. If you want to learn how to do something with your hands, do something that makes you happy. That's what he needs to do, is do something that makes him happy.
Well, Tracy, I know this is, and everyone at home, their hearts are breaking for your son. I know people across the nation are praying for him and are hoping for the best for him in his recovery. And I know you're there for him as well. I want to thank you for joining us, Tracy, and sharing the story, because it makes it real. And I'm wondering, as this progresses through everything, are your hopes that at some point you two may be able to share some moments together?
I would love that. I would love that.
I think you both deserve it. I think you both deserve it. Tracy, thank you so much, and we wish the best for you, your family.
I think it would be great. I would love to see him and his mother together. I don't know that he'll accept her, though. We don't know how that's going to go down, you guys. Think about that. And nobody can be angry with him for that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody could be upset with him because of that. Just saying.
Tonight, we're getting a first look.
I want to show you guys the inside of this prison, okay? This prison that this monster created. Insane. Guys, insane. Thank you to Stormy for dropping this here. This is nuts, guys. Check this out.
Tonight, we're getting a first look inside the Waterbury home where a man was held captive for 2 decades. The 32-year-old set fire to the house last month to escape. He weighed just 68 pounds at the time of his rescue. Police arrested his stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan, who was pled not guilty to the charges, including assault.
Now, mind you, some of this mess is from fire, but you can see through that and see what the house actually looks like.
And kidnapping. NBC Connecticut's Jeremy Chen joining us live in Waterbury with a closer look at those photos tonight. Jeremy.
Yeah, Keisha, this is a case that has captured the attention of the nation, and now we're getting an inside look into the conditions police say the stepson lived inside this home about the past 2 decades. Now, this all came about due to a Freedom of Information Act request. Neighbors, first responders, as well as experts left shocked. These photos released by Waterbury Police paint a picture of the conditions inside this home on Blake Street. Investigators say it's where Kimberly Sullivan held her 32-year-old stepson in captivity. Here you can see the staircase that leads to the second floor where police say the man was being held. There's also a picture of a lock. The victim told police he was locked in a room from the outside.
Very sad and sickening, just disturbing.
There's also photos of a bedroom and bathroom all cluttered with items. And then the kitchen, where first responders say they found the victim.
And the victim was called up in a little ball underneath the table. And then I went up to him, scooped him up, and then just took him right out the front door.
I saw.
That's the problem. This is a grown 32-year-old adult man. This guy just walked in and scooped him up like a child and carried him out because he weighed 68 pounds. I can't even process. I mean, guys, I've seen bad situations, okay? Again and again. I've never seen somebody that is an adult male that's 32 years old or more, that small, that unable to move. He was hiding under a damn table in a ball, you guys. This is unbelievable to me.
The mother and at the time what I thought was a child in the kitchen, he was in the fetal position
in the kitchen.
Former Fairfield Police Chief Gary McNamara says these pictures will support what the victim has told investigators about life inside the home.
A lot of these crimes are hidden from view and they're hidden from the public. This gives us a pretty clear picture of what life was like inside that house.
We're also getting a look at photos from what appears to be the Waterbury Police Evidence Room. You can see a door wrapped in police tape propped up next to shelving with what looks to be evidence bags. We also have photos of an apparent door frame that had a lock on it. Neighbors say this only adds to the horror they've felt since the arrest earlier this month.
I don't understand how anyone could live like that.
Now, we did reach out to Sullivan's attorney about the photos. His response, quote, no comment. Sullivan will return to court on April 22nd. Live in Waterbury, Jeremy Chen, NBC Connect, the past two.
Napping. And Sullivan, who was pled not guilty, the 32-year-old set fire to the house.
And somebody claimed that she kept a clean house, blah, blah, blah. So I said, no way in hell. Come on now. Like I said, some of this is fire damage. Okay. But the rest of it that they showed, where's it at here? Let me find it again. Sorry. This just shows. I mean, look at this mess. I believe that's his bedroom right there. Okay. And this was a room inside of a room, from my understanding, that you had to go into one room to get into that room. So he was like double barricaded into this room and nobody could get to him. My understanding was that the windows were nailed or bolted shut. They couldn't be opened. The bathroom is disgusting. Hang on here. Now a lot of this is fire damage too, okay? The water damage from the hoses and stuff. But it's still gross in here, you guys. There's the lock on his door. And a lot of this is fire damage as well, okay? But still, there's a picture of him, it looks like there. This is all water damage from the fire as well, but still the room itself is a mess, okay? It's a mess. The bathroom is disgusting. It's just, no. No, this is gross. Sorry. I mean, I've seen worse houses than this. Yes, I agree, but still, it's a mess. No, his bedroom, I think, was under, I think it may have been the attic stairs to the third floor, Denise. Exactly, Phil. That's a fact. Said when an anorexic person reaches 84 pounds, organ damage is imminent. 84 pounds triggers tube feeding, a horror all on its own. You ain't lying. 68 pounds. Imagine. 68 pounds. Every muscle in his body was atrophied. Every bit of his body was destroyed. And probably will be. To recover from this is going to take a long time, you guys. Very long time. It's crazy to me. Hold on. Like I said, I've got a few things to show you on this. As far as updates are. Here we go. Agreed, Stormy. I'm surprised that they found him alive. That's a thing. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that he had not passed, but I'm sure he was very close to being in that situation. Now, what would have happened if he wouldn't have done what he did and he would have passed away? She'd have gotten away with this and said that he had some, I mean, I'm sure they would have looked into it, but said that he did this to himself or something. You know what I mean? It's probably what would have happened.
Also in the courtroom today, the victim's biological mother and half-sister.
In a new exclusive interview, they sat down with NBC Connecticut's Amanda Pitts to share how they have been searching for him for years.
It's hard to think about what he had to go through. Just knowing that he was right there.
Tracy Valorand has spent the last 3 decades wondering where her son was, not knowing he was a few towns over, allegedly being held captive in a room at the hands of his stepmother.
I don't hate people at all.
And that is what I think happened, Karen. Thank you for saying that. I think he was feeling himself possibly slipping away and realized, I have to get the hell out of here. I'm going to die. And I think that's why he did what he did finally. Because people have said, well, why did he wait so long to do it? So on and so forth. Because, you know, he probably didn't realize. And at this point, realize something's not right. I don't feel right. Something's changing. And that's what I feel may have happened, Karen. Truly, that's my opinion. Just mine. Welcome, Stitches. Good to see you today. Thank you for being here.
This one, I hate.
The 52-year-old gave up custody of her son shortly after his birth in 1993. When asked why, she says the story starts with her daughter, Heather Tessman, and losing custody of her back in 1990.
DCF took her. Said that she had shaken baby syndrome.
Valorand says her daughter's father was charged and Tessman went to live with foster parents. She said the custody battle broke her. Around this time is when she met her son's father, Craig Sullivan.
I ended up trying to kill myself because I knew I wasn't getting her back. Craig would visit me while I was in the hospital. After we got married,
I can agree, Michelle.
We had our son.
But she still struggled.
I was still having issues coping. Things didn't work out between the two of us.
That's another thing too, Trish. I'm sure that his maturity level is very, very much behind because of the way he was treated for so long. He probably doesn't have the mind of a 32-year-old man. Okay, I agree with that. Trish says, I do not think his brain age as a 30-year-old person. Is more like someone who is 10 or something. He was captive for so long. I'm sure that his progression probably stopped at 11 or 12 years old when he was stopped being part of society. Okay. So he probably stopped becoming any older mentally because you're not going any further in life mentally. Okay. So physically, sure, but mentally, no. I agree with you 100%, Trish. Yeah, 100%. Elementary intellect, I'm sure there's a lot of immaturity in that aspect, and not due to any of his own fault, obviously. But there's a lot that this man's going to have to overcome at this point. And I pray for him that he will. I really do. Be able to have some form of a normal life. There's going to be so much therapy that this man needs. Physically, physical therapy, all of those situations that involve this type of stuff they're all gonna have to be there. His daddy's lighter saved him. Yeah, that's true.
And I was thinking that I was giving my son a better chance.
Exactly, Stormy. That's why I said.
If I had known what, I just can't fathom. I have no words.
Her son went on to live with his father and Kimberly Sullivan.
That's all guilt, in my opinion. Every bit of this, that's why she can't speak. She doesn't know how to speak on this because she has so much guilt, in my opinion. This is my opinion, guys. Nobody has to agree, obviously. But that's what I feel is wrong with her.
Valorand said she made attempts to get back into her son's life.
There was a park that I was told Craig would actually take him for walks.
Hi,
park
chickbait.
There and be there for hours, just trying to see if I seen him. Never seen him.
When he turned 18, did you try more?
Absolutely. High school yearbooks. I know I started there. Nothing in Waterbury, nothing in Wolcott.
I didn't have any reason to worry because as far as I knew, he was with his parents, living his life.
His life, according to him, was spent in seclusion.
What were they doing?
Were they waiting for him to actually die? What were they going to do then?
Going forward, Valorand and Tessman say they plan to be at every court appearance of Sullivan's.
I'm going to be there for my son.
I'm going to be there for my brother. Just stared daggers through his skull.
As for the son and brother they haven't yet met, they hope to someday.
He's in a very delicate stage right now. So
if he reaches out, absolutely. But it's not about us. It's about him and his recovery.
You're just waiting on that call.
Yeah.
You could just hear the heartbreak and anger in their voices. They are, though.
And I think the way she just answered that, you guys, I think she doubts that he's going to call her. Watch her face when she answers right here.
You're just waiting on that call.
Yeah.
You could just hear the heartbreak and anger in their voices. They are, though, grateful for the community support. So far, a GoFundMe for the victim has already raised nearly $200,000. In Waterbury, Amanda Pitts, NBC, Connecticut News.
Yeah, it is hard to imagine. I think a lot of us are certain types of parents, okay? And cannot imagine, first off, handing our child off, okay? In that type of a situation, I'm just saying.
Our top story.
I don't know. I understand what she's saying she was trying to do. What I don't understand is not, especially if he was that close. Like if I wanted something, if I wanted to find my child, I would be doing everything I could do to find something about him. Now I get that they held him, hid him basically in a sense, hid that he existed from the world, but there had to be some way for her to figure. So I would have went to the police every single day and had them harass the stepmother and father until I got an answer. That's what I would have done until somebody did something. You know what I mean? If I knew where the father lived, I would have went there every day. I would have found him at least and I wouldn't have let up until I got an answer. That's my opinions and feelings on this. Just saying. This is just beyond sad. I've never seen anything like this before, ever in my life. And it's hard to grasp how these things happen. You know what I'm saying? CJ said that the mom has capacity issues. Yeah, I can see that.
Tonight, the best friend of a man allegedly held captive for decades is speaking out to News 8 about their time in school together.
Police believe the 32-year-old victim was abused by his stepmother since he was 3 years old. News 8's Jane Chanco live outside their home in Waterbury with more. Jane.
Matthew Stanko says he quickly became best friends with the victim. They went to baseball games together, paired up during class activities. He says he searched years for him, never knowing what happened to his friend until now.
Searched MySpace, I searched social media, I searched anywhere I can to see if maybe there's some type of, digital footprint of him.
Matthew Stanko says his family moved around a lot when he was young, and it was hard to make friends. He says he instantly connected with another boy in second grade.
Me and him would sit in class, and what we would do is we would break crayons in half, and we would throw them at each other. And the teacher got so really upset about it that she ended up having to separate us.
Stanko showed us pictures.
That's the smile I remember, that side smile.
Explaining how they were inseparable at the former Barnard Elementary School. Even when Stanko went to a different school the next year, the two talked at the fence of the playground almost every day.
One day he just never came back to the fence, never spoke to me.
That's when Stanko believes the victim stopped coming to school. Court documents detail how his stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan, pulled him out of school after the Department of Children and Families was contacted about the victim's behavior. Since then, the victim says he was locked in a room at their Blake Street home, sometimes 24 hours a day. He was barely fed or given water. Police say he set fire to his home to escape.
They did notice a slide lock on the exterior of the door.
Deputy Chief Bob Stalker responded to the home the night of the fire. He says the fire was contained quickly He didn't know
Welcome,
until
Leslie.
afterwards about the real danger the victim faced.
The captain on Engine 11 put it very well. He said that this individual had faith that we were going to come for him and rescue him.
I wish that I knew what I knew, because I would have done something.
Stanko hasn't been able to visit the victim yet, but he hopes he remembers him.
I love you, and I just want you to know I'm here. And I still remember all the memories we had, all the times we spent.
And we reached out for an update on the victim's condition tonight. Police say he's still in a medical facility receiving treatment. Live in Waterbury, Jane Chaco, News 8.
Yeah, I'm sure there's others. Okay, it's hard to believe that there would be others. It's hard to believe this happened. Okay, I'm sure there are others out there, and I hope that if this is seen by people, that if there is other people in this situation, it'll give them the strength to come forward or to break the circle, the cycle, whatever it is, you guys. I hope that it does. I hope it does. Yeah. I've heard that already too. In fact, I'll show you. I mean, it's a hard thing to think about, Karen. You know what I mean? I can't imagine. I mean, I can't. Anybody, even if it wasn't my friend, you know what I mean? Hold on a minute. One moment. This is another person I do believe that he went to school with.
To Chase Park, right across from where he lived, and you wouldn't think that just a street over there was a kid locked in a room.
Ashley Sanchez remembers most of her classmates from the now closed Barnard Elementary School. She says one stood out, a boy who was always hungry.
I remember he would bring a lunch bag, but there wasn't really anything in there. So he's looking around and, he sees us eating. And back then I was obsessed with like ham sandwiches and mustard. And I would just give him half, or I would just give him my lunch.
She says he had a smaller frame than the other kids and never caused any trouble. Last week, his stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan, was arrested on 5 charges stemming from claims she held him captive and starved him, feeding him 2 sandwiches a day.
My heart instantly broke.
Police say the boy, now 32 years old, set fire to his home last month to escape captivity. News 8 obtained the 911 call made by Sullivan that night. The dispatcher asks her what's on fire.
The TV, I don't know. My son, a stepson, is in his room, and I don't know. He did something with the TV. I was sleeping. I fell asleep.
See flames or smoke?
Yeah, come on, Steph, come on.
Okay, can you get?
Yes, we need an ambulance, please.
Okay,
please, we need an ambulance.
Police body camera video shows first responders approaching Sullivan.
Stepson is in here.
And the victim being carried out by firefighters.
One victim right here.
Police say he suffered smoke inhalation but had other medical issues, rotten teeth, and malnourishment. Police and lawyers are combing through evidence, trying to find out what really happened inside the home. In the meantime, Sanchez has this message for her former schoolmate.
Many of his former classmates do still care for him. We are hoping he pushes through and, hopefully he heals fully.
And as we've reported, Sullivan denies these claims that she held him captive. Her lawyers tell us that he could have left the room or the house whenever he wanted to. Sullivan plans to plead not guilty to these charges, and she is expected in court again next Wednesday. Live in Waterbury, Jane Chaco, News 8.
Yeah, of course she's going to say that. Pure bullshit. Pure bullshit. I just don't understand it, guys. I want to know. What I don't understand is the motive. What's the motive behind this? Most people, if you don't want to be bothered with somebody, then kick them out of the house. Okay? No, this is like from 11 till 32 years old, you're going to keep them locked up. What are you gaining from this woman? I don't understand this. This lady's insane. What's up, Ruby Slippers? I think that's coming too. I definitely think that's coming too. Based on what I think they're waiting to see what he, after some healing is what he ends up with as permanent damage and stuff like that. He probably didn't. I can agree with that too. He probably had no idea. Well, they created fear in his mind. They created fear in his mind. That was stated in another article that I had read earlier on, like a while ago on this, that they made him believe that the outside world was a horrible place and that people were going to hurt him and things like that. That's how they did this. That tells you that his mind is definitely not the age of a 32-year-old. It's gotta be, Phil. That's the only thing I can think of, is that there was some form of a check coming. The only thing I can think of. That's the only thing I can think of. Makes no sense. And why did you have to lock him away? You could have just kept him in the house, but they locked him in a room. It's something's wrong all the way around. Something's wrong. Just saying. It's a bad situation. I feel so bad for this guy. I really do. I hope that people, like Mikey said, reach out to give this guy some things that, NASCAR and different things like that. I hope people reach out to give him some things in his life that he never got to experience, to help him to recover in some sense. You know what I mean? Emotionally and mentally. That's what I'm hoping for. All right, onward, guys. Next situation I want to show you guys. Something we talk about on a regular basis, and well, we have a little proof that it actually happens now. We know it happens, but here's a situation you need another good reason to pay attention to what your children do.
How does something like this happen? An 11-year-old boy whose parents only had basic birds and bees stranger danger talks with has his first sexual experience with a man 13 years older than him online. That same man now tied to at least.
Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
6 boys as young as 10 in at least 3 states.
This was so grotesque and so over the top and so sexual in nature that it didn't even cross my mind that this is something that we would have to deal with.
These Scottsdale parents asked us to conceal their identity. Their son was only 11 when they caught a pedophile sending him graphic videos.
We had parental controls in place. We thought we were doing everything right. We checked his phone. We checked his computer.
They even paid for extra safety apps and features.
Unfortunately, the technology is very difficult to make bulletproof.
Nothing could have prepared them for the stranger who singled out their son.
It would not have occurred to me to say, and if a man shows you a picture of his penis, this is what you should do.
Their son is on the autism spectrum with ADHD.
So playing games and being online was sort of his outlet.
Fortnite is his favorite game. That's where he met this man.
Sir, state your name and date of birth.
Jacob Lozano, December 8th, 2000.
Jacob Lozano lied about his age to groom preteen boys online.
He moved them from Fortnite to Discord, and it started happening very, very quickly.
Maricopa County Prosecutor Maggie Toth says the digital evidence is irrefutable.
What he would videotape and send to them were things that no 11-year-old child should ever have to see.
That popular platform Discord lets hundreds of millions of users share videos and live chat, clicking a simple button to bypass so-called age restrictions.
It would go from talking about sexual acts openly. What do you like to do to yourself?
This man didn't have any criminal history, right?
He did not.
But no one does until they're caught.
Exactly.
That's why what these parents did as soon as they found out made all the difference, helping detectives build a case.
Scottsdale Police Department was able to identify the boys in Arizona, a boy in California, and I believe 2 boys in Georgia. There are more unknown victims.
They were on vacation when Grandma walked into their son's room before school.
She said, I saw a picture of male genitalia on his computer. What should I do?
Mom checked her emotions, locked down her son's apps and accounts, and reached out to police who took over his gaming console.
I sort of immediately knew that if there is something going on, we want to preserve everything that's been said and sent, because if we weren't very careful about it, then we could lose all the information that would tell us the extent of what he had been exposed to.
Does it ever show in the digital record that a voice chat happened or a length of time?
That's where it becomes a black hole, that we don't know what happens beyond that.
Because unless it's being recorded, it's gone.
While Discord's platform guidelines say they have a zero-tolerance policy against grooming, sexual exploitation of minors, and content that sexualizes children that they will report and ban users, they do not scan direct messages and group chats for illegal content.
The penalty after trial is significant. These are essentially numerous life counts.
Lozano pleaded guilty, sentenced to 32 years and lifetime probation as a level 3 sex offender. Detectives say Lozano sent cash and gift cards to some of the boys in exchange for sexual videos.
They know that these may not be things that they want to do. So if I say I'm going to send you a gift card for $100, well, then maybe I'll do it.
We heard from the detective that even one child, he delivered a pizza to his house.
I will never forgive myself for this happening under my nose.
To protect your kids, experts suggest you set screen time limits and check their accounts. Watch for red flags like sneaking to play or hiding their screens. And no matter how young your child is, if you're letting them on any social platform, tell them to come to you if anyone shows them or talks to them about body parts covered by a bathing suit.
It's as awkward as it might be, as difficult as it might be, as busy as you might be, you still have to do it.
Their son is in counseling, and they say got solicited again not long after they allowed him back online.
I think it's not if this will happen, but probably when.
That's why you can't let anyone else beat you to those pivotal talks with your children.
Nothing is going to replace your direct parenting intervention.
Wow. That's insane, you guys. Absolutely insane. Please be vigilant. I'm telling you, there it is. Bingo. And it's as soon as they let him go back online, he was approached again. I'm telling you, these people are sick. I'd say to tell your child to show them anything at all. Absolutely anything at all. Sending pizzas to the house, sending gift cards. I mean, this isn't, they will go to any length to get what they want. It's insane. Be very, very vigilant and very, very careful, you guys. Please. Please, 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 please. That's all I can say. Please. It's a dangerous thing out there now. It's bad. It's very bad. Very, very, very bad. Okay. Oh, it's okay. Under and over it. No worries. No worries at all. Okay, let's see here. Find out the next situation I was going to show y'all. Hold on a minute. All right. Where's it at? Hold on. All right. I'm going to be here this afternoon too to give you guys another show, of course. But before we do any of that, I'm going to go with this. Just is it day or so old? Give me a minute here. Some more court TV stuff, guys. Give me a minute here. Just to give some updates here.
Harry Turk was an Olympic athlete, a world-renowned surgeon, a man who seemed to succeed at everything until he didn't. Turk got caught up in a fraud scheme that began the unraveling.
Mind you, this is not what I'm showing you, but this is here where I'm from, that this has happened.
Of his life, which culminated in the death of his wife. Now he's on trial for her murder, and we have all the big moments from day one. But first, in the pre-dawn darkness of November 13th, 2022, the tranquil town of Moscow, Idaho was shattered by the brutal slayings of 4 University of Idaho students. The community was paralyzed with fear as investigators embarked on a relentless pursuit of the perpetrator. Their efforts led them to a 28-year-old criminology PhD student from a neighboring university. A pivotal break came when a K-bar knife sheath was discovered at the crime scene, bearing DNA that allegedly matched the suspect. Surveillance footage further implicated him, capturing a white Hyundai Elantra identical to the suspect's vehicle circling the vicinity during the time of the murders. Cell data records placed him near the victim's residence both before and after the brutal murders, but there was also an eyewitness, a surviving roommate who saw the killer that night wearing a black mask. And now tonight we're learning more about that mask and its link to the accused killer.
I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us tonight here on Closing Arguments. Big show. This is a big spring at Court TV. But let's go back a little bit. Do you remember the trial of last century? Do you remember that one? Involved a football player named O.J. Simpson. That was the trial of trials. There was nothing else quite like it in our lifetimes. But that was last century, right? So what about the trials of this century? I think we've had 2 that have really hit that level. Johnny Depp, Amber Heard civil case, and then that woman down in Orlando, the mother of Kaylee Marie Anthony. That case, really, those 2 are the trials of this century. The ones that everyone was talking about, they couldn't get enough of, and they kept waiting for the next day. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Everyone had an opinion, right? So what else is happening here at Court TV this year? Well, we've got what I am calling the retrial of the century. And that's Karen Reed up in Massachusetts. Those retrials, anticlimactic. We've seen it already. Who cares? No, this one, the intensity has been turned. Thing about it, it is the contrast between who the defendant is and who the victims were, and who the victims really still are in the hearts of their families, and the gravity of what happened, and the whole investigation, the evidence, putting the pieces together, and then trying to understand why this happened. All of it has made this what I believe will be the biggest trial of this year, which is a very big year on court TV and in our criminal justice system. Now, so let's talk about this case. Let's talk about the suspect, the probable cause affidavit. As we get ready for this trial, which will happen in the summer, if you look at the probable cause affidavit, there is an eyewitness in this case, one of the surviving roommates. They refer to her as DM. It is Dylan. And she saw the killer. DM stated she saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covers the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. Dylan described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. This is eyewitness testimony. Now, can she positively identify the defendant? Can she positively identify his bushy eyebrows? I don't know. But when she was interviewed on December 1st, 2022, she drew a picture of the mask. And that's a copy of the sketch that she did for investigators. Because there's all different types of masks that someone could be wearing, especially these days in the post-COVID world that we live in. There are all different types of masks, but that's a very specific one. And it's going to be an important piece of the evidence in the case and in the trial when it happens this summer, scheduled for August, jury selection. It's gonna be like a 3-month trial, much like what we're gonna have this spring with Karen Reed. So I want to bring in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas, who's been going through some new court documents and has more for us tonight, specifically about the mask, right? This is a case where she doesn't see his face, but she sees a man with a mask. What is revealed in these new documents about the mask?
Well, these new documents, Vinny, are state documents, and pretty much in them, the state says they're relying for the trial heavily on self-authenticating evidence or evidence that doesn't need further proof to say that it is what it is. And among that, they say that Kohberger purchased a black balaclava mask, a ski mask, about 10 months before those alleged murders occurred in January. Now, in that filing, it says, quote, "The relevance of this information is that Brian Kohberger purchased a black balaclava from Dick's Sporting Goods on January 10th, 2022. This mask is the same type of mask described by DM, surviving roommate Dylan Mortensen, that she witnessed worn by a male in the residence on November 13th, 2022, and that would be the date of those alleged murders. And we also have the certificate of authenticity provided by investigators after consulting with representatives of Dick's Sporting Goods. Now,
so it's clear that he had purchased this type of mask. This, what do they call it, a balaclava?
Balaclava. It's essentially a ski mask. What we know as a ski mask, you know, limited visibility, your eyes are poking out, maybe bushy eyebrows are poking out on whoever Dylan Mortensen thinks she saw. But the interesting part about it, Benny, is that we took that drawing and then compared it to the masks that we searched on Dick's Sporting Goods website. And you can see here, there's her drawing on the left, and here's the collection of balaclava masks, ski masks on Dick's Sporting Goods website. We scrolled through, as you see, there's a giant collection of them until we found a mask that somewhat matched her drawing and description. And you see it right there. There's the eye hole there you can look out. It covers mouth, covers the head, your typical ski mask. Now, what we did from there is we took that mask that we found, and then we took a picture of Brian Kohberger. And then we put them next to each other and then superimposed them, the mask on his face, to kind of get a recreation or a depiction of what Dylan Mortensen may have seen that night of November 13th.
If in fact
it is him.
If it's him.
If it is him.
All right, so let's take a look at that. Do we have it?
Let's take a look at that depiction of what that may have looked like over his face. There you go. So you see it fits almost perfectly. And you see the eyebrows are very visible. His eyes are visible. That's her description of what she may have saw, given if it was him.
No, right. And so this type of mask, and you know, when I was thinking of the mask, I didn't know if it was the kind that had the two circles for the eyes. Right. That's like old school. Mm-hmm. This is more of a new school, but what's so prominent in all that are the eyebrows.
Eyebrows.
They're like almost jumping through the screen at you.
Incredibly visible, because there's the defense is questioning whether she could have even seen them in the dark or if the mask was covering them up. But as we see on our depiction there, they are visible.
And when did he purchase those?
January. In January. Okay, so this is months beforehand.
10 months before. And we also know another recent filing that the prosecution says off his Amazon click history, that's when he allegedly purchased that K-Bar knife around March of 2022. So the mask comes January 2022. The knife comes March of 2022, both over 8 months before.
Almost a year, guys. Almost a year he purchased this thing. That means nothing to me. You're going to, he knows that he's going. First off, he's a runner. Okay, he jogs. And it's cold. The cold months are coming up. It was cold when he bought it then. That's all that tells me. That he bought a mask because it's something that could keep his face warm, period. That's all that tells me. It's insane.
Or those alleged murders occurred in November of that same year.
Now, what's interesting is following where he is, right? Because he's not moving out to Washington State until the summer for the new school year. So this stuff, I guess, must have been sent to his home in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, absolutely. That's where if you look at that certificate of authenticity one more time, you see it says on there, Pennsylvania, it wasn't Washington.
Okay. So so I guess what they would be arguing is that the planning could have occurred prior to him even going out west. And there, people have thrown out, why did he go out to Washington State? Did it have anything to do with the fascination of Ted Bundy, right? People have talked about that. We don't know.
That is so ridiculous. He went to Washington because it was one of the best schools in the nation for him to get the education that he was looking for. That's all it was. And they're playing this into something so much more than what it is. And it's ridiculous. Her drawing has no eyebrows or bushy eyebrows in her drawing. A mask. Throw it out. Throw out. I see none. Do you or anyone? No, I agree, Michelle.
No, but it seems prosecutors now are going to argue that the planning of this preceded him moving across the country, which to me is fascinating as well. Cody's going to stick around. Let's bring in our think tank tonight. Joining us, criminal defense attorney Eklund Mercy, retired criminal defense attorney.
Exactly, Stacy. Panties are in the water over a mask and a selfie, but A-OK with unidentified DNA. Thank you very much, Stacy. You should join us here later this afternoon for the other show I'm having. I think you'll enjoy it.
Kirk Nurmi, and former federal prosecutor and president of the West Coast Trial Lawyers. We'll have to bring in the president of the East Coast one night. We'll have the East Coast, West Coast wars, Nima. All right. So I just want to get a number from you. I'm just going to really quickly. How important is this mask and the purchase of this mask in terms of evidence? 0. Just give me a number, 0 to 10. Eklund.
It depends. I think they.
I asked for a number, and you see, you can tell she's a lawyer.
I can't. It depends. It depends. It depends on what other evidence that you have. Because 9 months is a lot of months, and it was purchased during the winter months. So I need more. We need more information.
Okay, Kirk Nurmi, I guess you can give me a number and an explanation.
Well, as it relates to premeditation, the answer is 0. I mean, we're talking about a purchase of an item that is common in winter in Pennsylvania, and also having attended Washington State University, I can tell you that's not an uncommon item to have in Pullman, Washington. The people in Idaho are going to know that. As it relates to identity and those type of things, the fact that he's wearing a mask, then I give it about a 3, but it's really about a 0 as it relates to premeditation.
Wow. He's like,
thank you.
She drew a picture of it. Okay, Nima Rahmani, your thoughts. Give me a number and an explanation, and then we're going to dive into this a little bit deeper.
Vinny, I love this evidence for the prosecution. I think it's a 7. I think the Amazon purchase of the knife is a 9. They're within a couple months of one another, so this is.
Oh, it's a 9. If they have a receipt, sure. If they don't, it's a 3. Sorry.
Very helpful evidence for the state, in my opinion, and consistent with surviving roommate Dylan Mortenson's identification. I absolutely love it. I think it's helpful.
So, surprisingly, the two former prosecutors believe this is really good, important evidence, and our criminal defense bar here on the program tonight not agreeing. Here's my point, Eklund. My point is there's an eyewitness, describes a particular type.
He absolutely is. I told you guys, he's doing his job. This is what they pay him for. Sad as it is.
Of mask, okay? There's plenty of different masks out there, right? There's masks that go like, the COVID mask that people were wearing. You've got the mask that has just the...
And if you guys noticed, 2 out of the 3 panel members he has, they're not in this. They're not in that game. They're not playing it. They don't see it. Like she said, you got to show me something else besides a stupid mask. Are you kidding me? Come on.
The little eyes sticking out like that. You've got a mask that could just be a bandana tied around here. But this is a very particular one that Dylan saw, described, and drew. And it matches with the type of mask that was purchased within the same calendar year by the defendant. To me, there's a consistency. There's a linkage to it. And it does expose the eyebrows.
That's where you lose me, because it's when we saw the superimposed mask on Kohlberger, we noticed the eyebrows, but we noticed blue eyes. So you mean to tell me you're going to, the first thing that comes at you is bushy eyebrows, but not the blue eyes. So that is more of a more identifying characteristic if you told me, hey, the eyewitness saw the color of the eyes versus just bushy eyebrows.
I don't know. All these straight on shots of him, that one was,
And you know what? Granted, it was nighttime, but if the light lit him up, she's absolutely right. He's got very piercing blue eyes. How was that not noticed? If you could see his face clear enough to see the eyebrows, where's the eyes at? That's a good point. She's got a great point.
Oh, he had good. It's like it's jumping through the screen at me, Kirk. These eyebrows.
I like that you brought that up, Leah, because it's a fact. She just said, I love how we are nice to the guilters, but let us go in a guilter room and claim that Brian is innocent, or even doubting that he's... You don't even have to say that he's innocent, Leah. Just say that I'm not sure. Okay? And we are absolutely bashed, period. Why doesn't it work both ways, guys? Why is that okay? That drives me insane. Okay? That drives me insane. But it's a fact. We treat them with respect. We treat them and respect their... Okay, I respect what you think. I don't feel the same way, but I respect what you think. So on and so forth. Why doesn't it work both ways? I don't understand that. Just saying. Great point, Leah. Very great point.
Well, look, that's why I think, it has some relevance as it relates to the identification.
Once again, very good point, SRB. She didn't even know the color of the eyebrows that she so very distinctly saw. Black, brown, blonde, red, anything. How do you know? If you saw them that good, then you would know what color they were. And looking at this guy's eyes, how blue they are. Okay, if there was any light illuminating him whatsoever, not being weird, the guy's got very blue eyes, okay? Okay? Come on now. Should have saw that too. It is. It's called hypocrisy. Thank you so much, SRB. Amen.
Right? But at the same time, a mask like that isn't that uncommon, Vinny. And remember the prosecution in OJ. You brought up OJ earlier. We're going to have shades of...
And I'm going to tell you something, you guys. Looking at this, if this man was wearing this mask, let me say this. To me, the black and the style of mask would draw more attention to his eyes. Look at it. When you look at this, what do you see first, in my opinion? Don't just go with what I said, but I don't see his eyebrows. I see his eyes first. Okay? I see his eyes first. That's what I see. I don't see the eyebrows. I see the eyes. Now you tell... Sorry about the echo. I'll fix it, Eddie. Sorry about that, you guys. You tell me, everybody, when you look at this face right here with this mask on, what is the first thing that draws your attention? Thank you, Leah. I don't see eyebrows. I see, and to me, he doesn't have bushy eyebrows. I've seen 3 people involved in this case that I've seen that have way bushier eyebrows than this. You see the eyes. Thank you. You see the eyes. You see the blue in the eyes, the deep blue eyes that this man has that women probably looked at when he would interact with them too. No, there was no blood on his face, Karen. In the paperwork claims, she only saw a brow. Yes, one brow. Good point, 12 gauge. One brow. No eyes, no eyebrows. Bushy eyebrows are so subjective. This is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I agree. Again, the eyeballs, guys. The color of the man's eyes. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. I'm sorry.
Of OJ's glove repeating itself, right? So
no, OJ was a whole different scenario, Kirk. There was a lot more at play than the glove in OJ.
I proved my point. Everybody that answered has answered the same damn thing. Okay. You see the eyes. You're drawn to the color and the eyes. Now, let me say this. If it was too dark and you didn't see the eyes, how'd you see the eyebrow then? So I don't want to hear that excuse either at that point. It's bullshit.
Jay Simpson, a lot more, and none of that is going to be a part of this case.
But let's face it, though, this black cat is not so uncommon in that area.
It's a balaclava.
How do you,
balaclava? It's not just a hat. It's a balaclava.
Okay, I'll let you say it. I'll call the ski master because that's all. I went to public school. Maybe Nima can pronounce those words. But listen, it's not that uncommon. So I say it works of ID, but it has nothing to do with premeditation. I think this idea that he bought this mask and he was doing this all to plot this murder, maybe that's something that the state can argue at the sentencing phase. They can have a psychologist argue that as a data point, saying he became obsessed with.
Did the echo stop, Eddie? Volume is booming with this video and echoing. I turned it down and it shouldn't be echoing at all. I hope.
Murder and studying murder. I would agree with you if we're talking about that, but a simple black ski mask that is not distinctly uncommon in that area, I don't think that's going to move the needle for the state as much as you're saying. Now, yes, combined with other circumstantial evidence, certainly it helps, but is it going to be a huge help? Yeah, I don't think so.
Nima, could you imagine if Dylan described a different type of mask than was purchased by the defendant? We'd have these two jumping up and down, right? If it was one of these masks, right, with just the eyeballs, they'd be saying, "Look, it's not even the same mask," but it is.
Well, it is, Vinny, and the defense would have a field day with it. Look, there's different ways to defend a murder case.
DM only agreed with what she was asked. Did he have bushy eyebrows? Sure, he did. What about a mask? Yeah. Was it a bully? Maybe. Here's a picture. Yeah, that's what it was. And I think they told her how to draw the mask that she drew. Did it have what did it look like? Draw it for me. Did it have a rectangle? Sure. Was it holes or was it just one big square? It was one big square. They led her. It was leading. The whole thing was leading. It was bullshit. Okay? Exactly, Devil Woman. Great. Can you draw this? Draw this for me. 100% what I believe. I do not believe that she drew that out of her own mind. She drew that based on what she was told to draw. Just going to tell you that. Period. That is my opinion. I believe that this situation won't even be a lucrative point. The sheet, the DNA, and other points of reference we haven't been told of. We'll see, 12 gauge. We'll see. I have sat in interviews and interrogations. It isn't considered that in a court of law, though. There you go. What do you mean, bud? I have sat in interviews and interrogations. It isn't considered that in a court of law. What isn't considered that, bud? I mean, I'm telling you, I feel like she was told in a sense what to draw, and that's what she drew. I truly believe that.
Case, and Kirk's been talking about this, but one of them is identification, right? You're saying it wasn't me. I think that's what the defense is here.
Oh, the leading questions. It's well, granted, it's not considered that, but that is what it is. 12 gauge, you know it is. You can hear it, you can see it and hear it based on what we know. I mean, it's all there is to it. But just saying, it is what it is. You know, I mean, it's going to be seen for whatever they want it to be. If people aren't seeing all this by now, all I can say is they're not reading the actual. That's 100%. Read the documents. You'll see. That's all there is to it.
They're not saying that this was self-defense or this was, a passionate manslaughter type case. They're saying that Brian Koberger was not at the scene of the murder. So you got the DNA on the knife sheath. That was purchased. You got the identified ski mask. That was purchased. You got the selfie the next day with the bushy eyebrows, right after he maybe cleaned up after the murders. These are all important pieces of identifying evidence. In addition to the cell site and the vehicle surveillance video that we've been talking about. So these are all things that put him at the scene.
He wasn't there. He wasn't there. He was not there.
In the murder, this is all very helpful for the state. So I agree with you, Vinny, on this one.
Yeah. All right. Eklund, do you think... Now, he took a selfie, and prosecutors want to use that selfie to show his bushy eyebrows on that day. How large will his eyebrows loom inside that courtroom?
I don't know how long. I don't know how long his eyebrows are going to loom in the courtroom, but
Did she just snort? She just snorted. I'm pretty sure she snorted. Just saying.
I'm really going to, it's all about jury selection. It's all about, you have no idea what the jury is going to find important, what they're going to find,
but everything's matching. Everything's nothing is inconsistent.
Come on, Vinny. Everything is inconsistent. Everything of importance. The man bought a damn mask in the wintertime to keep his face warm because he's a jogger. He bought a knife. Allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly, okay? Because there's been no receipt provided at this point yet to prove that. And until I see it, I won't believe that. You're right. Detectives did lead Dylan, page 3, on reply to the state's response to the defendant's motion in limine witness identification by bushy eyebrows. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, sir. That is very true. Welcome back, Cassie. She did snort very much. Sorry. Anyway. He's not reading the documents, and it's because Vinny's doing his job. He's doing what they're telling him. He's reading the script they give him. That's all that matters because it's a paycheck for these guys. I've told you that before. I feel so bad for her. She tries to take a non-biased stance and gets argued with, but nobody argues with anyone calling him a killer. 100%. 100%.
Boom inside that courtroom.
I don't know how long. I don't know how long his eyebrows are going to loom in the courtroom, but I'm really going to, it's all about jury selection. It's all about, you have no idea what the jury is going to find important, what they're going to find,
but everything's matching. Nothing is inconsistent. Like, everything fits.
It's convenient. I don't think it fits. I think it's convenient. I think that once we actually
look at Kurt's eyebrows. I would not call them bushy. I would call them.
Let's remember that word, convenient. It doesn't fit. That's the greatest thing I've heard today. It is convenient. It is convenient that these things are taking place. It's convenient that these things happened. It's not. It doesn't fit into place, okay? It absolutely does not, and shame on you, Vinny. Read your script like you were. Hello, Leslie. Good to see you. Hey, I just saw this whole chat over in TikTok. I didn't know you were trying to be a TikToker. Oh, I'm not. It's just attached to our TikTok. That's all. That's cool. I'm glad to see that it's over there. It's working. Thank you, Leslie. Good to see you today, by the way. Importantly, evidence shows never contact with the roommates or Ethan, or sadly the girls. Has two, no contact ever with frat houses either. That's huge proof. Amen. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Wonderful to see you, Miss Pebbles. Thank you for being here today. Hope you're having a good day. It's great to see you. And yes, really, come on, Vinny, you know better. I agree.
You know, dark, full, but like his, there's something else about him. I think it's part of it is because his eyes are set a little bit deeper, and they kind of come over.
Bingo,
and that's
Eddie.
what she noticed that night. Like she is looking right at him, and that's what she remembers. And the photos of him, you see him.
People have bushy eyebrows.
I know.
Lots of people.
I know.
Plenty
Lots of
of
people
people
buy masks. Lots of people have white Hyundai Elantras. Lots of people buy knives. Lots of people's phones, you know, are turned off for 2 hours during the course of a murder. Lots of people go driving at night to go stargazing to a park that is closed. Lots of people do. Lots of people drive by the scene of a murder in the morning, coincidentally. Right? There are probably tons of people doing that. Like, everything has fit in this case, Kirk. Everything.
The 9th, sorry about the echo again. The 9th and the 10th, Michelle, I will be covering those days. If they're open to I will have it live here as we're here, beginning to end. And there's our TikTok right there. If anybody would like to join that, as well as the Facebook. Thank you, SRB. Check it out. Follow them both, please, and thank you. We appreciate the support 100%.
I did it. I left Nermi speechless. You froze on us, Kirk.
All the evidence you just mentioned, I think that's more powerful is I just don't.
All right, we're having a slight audio problem with Kirk, but I think it was what I said, right? I think it was what I said. Anyway, all right, don't go anywhere, folks. When we come back, was the suspect in Idaho studying how to commit a crime?
I don't know if everybody knew this, by the way. The night that this went down, there was a meteor shower, okay, that was announced via Wazoo, okay, the school that he worked at. So he very likely could have been stargazing, literally stargazing, looking at this meteor shower, okay? I just want that known that is something that happened that night. And a lot of people don't know that, okay? A lot of people do. But that's something that we verified, and it's fact. And Wazoo did announce it to their students. Hey, by the way, this meteor shower, I can't remember the name of it, whatever, is happening tonight, such and such time. If you're in this place, an area, whatever, you can see this happen. Lots of people are interested in that kind of stuff. Just saying.
Crime. We'll talk about that, plus coming up next hour.
Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates. Next week, it starts all over again. The retrial of the century.
Evidence from the accused killer's time at DeSales. Still with me, breaking it all down, Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas. Okay, so this is something we've talked about since the beginning of this case, right? He's a criminology guy. He's criminal justice. What sort of background does he have? So it seems like prosecutors want to use some of this.
They want to use some of his homework, actually, Vinny. He had this 12-page final exam at DeSales that pretty much looked over crime scene scenario practices. And Vinny, I'll tell you, it was very detailed. And it seemed as if the professor gave them like a mock scenario, and they'd walk through from arriving to the scene all the way till the finish, collecting evidence and all of that. So within this 12-page exam, I picked out 3 big chunks that seemed pertinent to this investigation. So first comes under the tab of arriving at the crime scene. He says in his final exam report, I should gather the following information in my notes as the investigation commences, which will later be included in my preliminary case report when the details of the case culminate. The offense, the time of day, date, and approximate time of the offense, if known, identification of the victim, the location of the offense, the method of operation, if known, and the identification of the officer. Since the offender was not there, I would be unable to record this information initially, and the specifics of the crime won't be known until confirmed by the crime lab. And Vinny, I thought that part was important because
I don't know why, Leslie. I'll have to look into it. I don't know. Brandy, do you know anything about that, dear? If you're in here. If not, I'll have to look into it. And that's for real time this time. No time for real this time. No teasing. Okay, no worries. I'll look into it. Thank you, Leslie.
He also was not at the location of his alleged offense. Goes on in this part, getting the approximate time is important and can be indicated by rigor mortis, which sets in at about 12 hours, or putrefaction, about 10 to 20 days. All this information will aid me as I attempt to reconstruct the scene of the crime based on the evidence location in relation to its former known position.
So this is a guy who is studying, from the other end of it, right? So if he committed this crime, he's now someone who has studied how the investigators are going.
I have to disagree with you. The witness that probably lived the lives in the area, could recognize the difference in masks. I live in Illinois a few years and see a difference in how. Wait, what do you mean, Ruby? As far as what do you mean? I have to disagree. The witness that probably lived the lives in the area could recognize the difference in masks. I lived in Illinois for a few years and see difference in outerwear. I don't know exactly what you mean, Ruby, but okay. I respect the disagreement too. I do. I just don't know what you're saying right there. I'm sorry. And yes, Critical's right. It wasn't an alibi per se. It was to say that I wasn't there, prove that I was. Agreed.
To approach all this and what they're going to do, how they're going to try to figure out who did it.
Absolutely.
You wonder, like, did he pursue this because he wanted to commit a crime? I mean, again, presuming that he did it, right? He's presumed innocent, but for purposes of the argument and what prosecutors believe here, did he study this stuff and try to learn this stuff to see if he could do and get away with it?
As if he had some ulterior intention behind it.
Right.
Now, from that section, Vinny, he goes on to kind of talk about specific equipment he'd have, a lot of technicalities, gloves and cameras and things like that. Then it moves along to the section titled Entering the Home for Crime Scene Documentation. Now, under this section, he says, quote, anything that is fiber-free and covers the mask or covers the mouth, hair, and overall body would be helpful in avoiding crime scene contamination, since hair, saliva, skin cells, and other bodily fluid or cells may be added to the scene, thus contaminating it.
Let's hold it right there for 1 second. So investigators don't want to contaminate by leaving any evidence of themselves there, the same way a killer would want to prepare yourself for this scene to not leave anything behind.
You see that all the dots are sort of somewhat connecting?
I see it now.
And then continuing there, he says, even if we can't assume that there was an offender, despite seeming obvious, preventing contamination is an important way to ensure the integrity of the investigation.
Again, another good point, Stacy. Thank you for joining us today. You're on the ball. My money is on any one of us in here that wouldn't have made these kind of mistakes, but Brian would. And the thing that gets me with what your statement is proclaiming, I don't have a PhD in criminology. I don't think you do. I know SRB doesn't. I'm pretty sure that 12 gauge don't, and maybe Eddie doesn't either. And I'm pretty sure that none of us would have made probably wouldn't, if we were to do something in this sense, would have thought of these things. And that's the problem, is the mistakes are so ridiculous. Okay. But somebody that has a PhD in criminology made it. I don't know. Whatever his PhD is in, it's in criminal something. Okay. It's related to criminology. I'm sorry. I don't know 100% what it is, but he has that PhD that he's going to school for this now, or was at that time, on top of what he already got from DeSales. Okay. So he was working on another degree in, was it criminal forensic or computer forensics for criminology or something like that. I can't remember the exact title, guys. I'm just saying he does have a PhD though, Rondi. I'm not 100% what I claimed it to be. I'm sorry if I was wrong. But he did get that from DeSales, okay? And then he was in his first semester of a cloud-based forensics. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But he had more knowledge let me rephrase this then in layman's terms. The man had more knowledge than any of us in this type of a field, okay? And I don't believe that any of us would have made these types of mistakes. It's kind of commonsensical stuff. So with his educational background, I believe it's very hard to understand somebody making those mistakes, is what I'm saying. I rephrased it in a sense. My apologies. If people actually read BK's crime scene final, you would know that he didn't make those mistakes. Well, there you go. It was going for a doctorate, right? Meaning he already had what he had. So my apologies for misphrasing. My apologies again. Right. Exactly. Thank you.
And evidence. We should always treat the crime scene as if there is indeed a criminal homicide, as to not miss out on important details. That is how this crime scene is being handled. So again, it seems like he has a full understanding of how important it is to not bring outside contamination, whether from the offender or the investigators, try to keep everything secure.
And he is studying a homicide scene here, right?
Absolutely. That's the mock scene.
This is not a burglary. It's not a break-in. This is a homicide scene that he's talking about.
And the important part of this last section, Vinny, under the collection of items of evidence tab. So he goes on, talks about a little more technicalities, but you brought up the scene that he's studying. The mock scene involves a deceased woman and evidence that is surrounding her, including a knife. So it goes on under this section. Under this section, it says, like the crime scene photography, larger items of physical evidence are taken first. Now, I want to stop right there, Vinny, because we know his murder weapon was never found.
Right.
Based on this right here, he knows that large physical evidence is going to be taken first at a crime scene. So continuing on, this includes the disheveled furniture and children's furniture, cell phone and computer if there, the knife, and coat hanger. The knife should be examined for latent fingerprints to be logged separately. Same with the coat hanger, doorknobs around the house, upended furniture, cell phone, and virtually any physical evidence big enough to grab. Crimes of passion are rooted in emotionality and impulsivity. If this is the case, we can likely count on there being latent fingerprints on the doorknob and all over the knife and victim. And what do we know was found at the scene in his particular alleged murder scene, Vinny? That sheath with DNA that was collected that matches his.
Yes. You also mentioned cell phones there, which is interesting, right? So cell phone evidence, they have some cell phone evidence, but they don't have him at the scene through his cell phone because apparently his phone, according to prosecutors, was either turned off or put into airplane mode in the window of time when the murders took place. Cody, great job as always. Thank you so much. Let's bring back in our think tank still with us, Eklund Mercy. Joining us on the phone telephonically right now, Kirk Nurmi and Nima Romani's with us. I'm going to go to the telephone first. Kirk from Phoenix, you're on the line. Kirk, let me ask you, what do you think a jury will do with this type of evidence if they hear it? And I'm talking about evidence that this guy is studying criminology. This guy is studying criminal justice. This guy is doing reports and taking classes about crime scenes, a homicide crime scene.
Look, I think it would be powerful evidence for the state if it's admissible, because the jury would start piping together a motive that he was obsessed with murder and wanted to see if he could get away with one, which is why I think we'll see the defense move to keep it out as being overly prejudicial. I think it's something the jury could consider and say if there was a psychological profile at sentencing phase, and it could be hugely damaging to Mr. Kohlberger's chance of getting a life verdict. That phase when you're talking about psychological profiles, et cetera. But when you're talking about a homework assignment, the facts probably dictated by a professor, some of those things that Cody talked about, they're not really attributable to Mr. Kohlberger. So I would think it'd be overly prejudicial and probably something that the jury shouldn't hear.
Nima, what are your thoughts here? And a lot of people, we've been talking about this since the beginning. There's no connection between the suspect and the victims here. There's no interpersonal connections that we know of at all. It seems like it's like a sort of not a serial killer, right? But along those lines, someone killing because they they want to, right? Killing for the thrill of it or for whatever reason. Do you think this plays into it? Does he have some sort of an obsession? Like this is all he can think about is crime and murder, and he's studying it in school, and then he is allegedly living it out in real life?
Vinny, he may have an obsession with one or more of the victims or just murders in general. I mean, part of the problem with this case is the judge's overly broad gag order, which is starting to be loosened a bit, and the filings are becoming public. That's why this evidence is finally seeing the light of day after so much time. But, you know, when it comes to this evidence, and Kirk talked about it well, and I'm sure Eklund's going to agree with him, it really comes down to the rules of evidence. And the good thing about Idaho, for the lawyers and law students.
Good point again, Stacy. You can't have both, guys. You can't have it both ways. You can't have the cake and the icing. You can't do it. Brian is a criminal mastermind. We get that. Been given that multiple times. At the same time, he wasn't as smart as he thought he was. Which way does it go? You can't take both of them. Okay, come on.
Students who are watching is they follow the federal rules of evidence. So, you know, 401 is relevance, and Kirk talked about 403, which is it unduly prejudicial? Because this is
the guy you mentioned the other day, the Baker Bagel guy. I found a video where the guy who owned the business stated that rumor was a lie. Which guy are you talking about, 12 Gauge? Are you talking about the I can't remember his name. The one that we talked about in the very first week that this all happened, that we found. And he stated that what rumor was a lie? Yeah, I don't know about that horse. Oh yeah, I remember those, Stacy. Oh, for sake with Viviana, hello. Most of them are. Absolutely, Viviana. That's very true. Cat K, hello and welcome. Cole. Okay. Are you talking about Cole? Is that who you're talking about, 12 Gauge? And what rumor are you talking about, sir?
This is going to be a 404B analysis, and we've talked about prior bad acts a lot, but this is evidence of his motive and his plan. So is the judge going to let it in? It's a close call. I think it should come in. That's the former prosecutor me. But given how conservative the judge has been in this case, and a lot of appellate courts have reversed convictions based on prior bad acts evidence coming in. Harvey Weinstein's a recent example. I think the judge is going to err on the side of caution, not let this in. And that might not be a bad thing, Vinny. As a prosecutor, it's not just getting the conviction or even the death sentence. It's having it withstand appeal. And you know there's those mandatory state and federal appeals in this case, assuming Koberger is convicted and sentenced to death. So my guess is the judge keeps it out, but I think it should come in.
Yeah, and you know, Eklund, I look at it based upon the other evidence that exists here. I don't think they need it per se, but I think for the families and everyone trying to figure out, you know, why was my child murdered? Why did this guy allegedly choose my child to take out? And it may have, and it seems like it may have absolutely nothing to do with the victims. And
I definitely don't hate you. We have stronger minds than this, you guys. We're better than this. Don't worry, it's almost over. I'm sorry. Very, very good. Very good statement, Critical.
And have everything to do with who this defendant is and what he was obsessed with. But in terms of putting it in front of the jury, I don't think the jury needs it. I think the family probably needs it more to try to come to terms with why this horrific crime happened.
Yeah, I don't think it's very helpful. I think that it may actually hurt the prosecution in some ways, in the sense that, hey, okay, we're saying that he's this mastermind, this cunning person who is very strategic, very organized, and who's been on this kick, who has been very
I get it.
This has been
Devilwoman.
planned.
You're
This
all
has
good.
been thought of. And then to forget the sheath, you know, I think that you kind of will set yourself up for kind of a failure. So if you're going to build him up to being this diabolical person coming in, one person being able to slaughter 4 people.
Oh, no, that's not what I was saying, Rondi. Cole was the person that was the one that needed to be looked at. He was too young to be somebody's father. Let me put it that way. He was the same, right around the same age as these guys were. He wasn't that old. I think he was a little bit older, but not that much older is all I'm saying. I know what you mean now, but I never said that. I don't know where that rumor about his son came from. That was something I never heard that before. I'll have to look into that because I'm curious to that one too.
People by himself. And with that being said, he forgot the sheath. We don't have a murder weapon.
I think that
but he forgot the sheath.
I see exactly what you're saying. It's like he's the great killer, but like he left behind the sheath with his DNA on it. All right, Think Tank staying with us. Big thanks to Cody Thomas. When we come back, we're going to talk about this man. Who is he? He's a former Olympic athlete, a world-renowned surgeon, but now he's a murder defendant. Meet Harry Turk. Restraining order comes into play, and the drinking from that night.
All right, and that does it for that as far as what we were looking at it for. All right, let's see here. Everybody's bombshells, the balaclava, blah, 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 blah. So this afternoon, guys, we're going to be looking into the secondary show that we're going to be doing for those of you that are interested. Oh, no, I understood. I wasn't saying that you said I said that. I was saying I had never heard that. Sorry, Rondi, if I misrepresented what I was saying, my apologies. But anyway, this afternoon show is going to be the exculpatory. It's going to be titled "The Exculpatory Evidence that has been omitted. What is it?" And alternate suspects being presented from the defense. That's what we're going to be looking into this afternoon and talking about. For those of you that would like to join us, please do. All right, y'all. Let's see. We've been here almost where I want to be. Okay, so that being said, let's see what we got here. Give me a second, y'all. Let's see what we got. I see it, Brian. It's a good one. Yeah, let's see here. All right, hold on. All right, guys, let's see if we can find something to laugh at real quick here before we get out of here. and head on to the next show of the day. And I always try to end these shows here in the morning with a little bit of a smile on our face. Let's see if these are funny or not. I have some I had saved and some sent to me, so let's see what we got. And we will talk about all that stuff this afternoon too. Sounds like a plan to me.
The 2016 Olympics in Rio de Janeiro.
Now, please understand, just so that everybody knows, these are mostly parodies that we're watching here. I don't want anybody to get confused.
Janeiro features 16 brand new sports venues to accommodate over 300 events. To build these arenas, construction teams push themselves to their physical and mental limits as they race to finish before the opening ceremonies.
We wanted to know what it takes to make it on a stadium construction crew for the Rio Games. So we brought in veteran Brazilian construction worker Rodrigo Silva. Rodrigo will work in the Sportology Lab's specially designed miniature construction site, where he will have just 8 weeks to build a 14-foot-tall steel-reinforced spectator stand. To accurately replicate real-world conditions, he will work 12-hour shifts with no breaks, sleeping each night in a cramped and poorly ventilated dormitory room. We also cranked the temperature in the lab up to 105 degrees Fahrenheit to simulate Rio's hot summer months. Are you ready? Okay, go!
Rodrigo started strongly, laying the concrete foundation in under 10 hours, while also swatting away the hundreds of mosquitoes that we released inside the test area. The average person would succumb to muscle fatigue after carrying dozens of 90-pound cement bags. But since Rodrigo relies on his wages to provide rent and food for his family in Sao Paulo, he maintained a steady pace of 10 cement bags per hour. But by the time Rodrigo completed the steel support structure, the construction's grueling physical demands began taking their toll. Shoveling a total of 34,000 pounds of gravel over 2 weeks caused numerous muscle tears in Rodrigo's arms, reducing his upper body strength by 40%. And while working through a continuous 6-day period of simulated rainfall, a strain in his shoulders limited him to 1/3 of his normal range of motion. Rodrigo then suffered a herniated disc from overexerting his back. This made it difficult to push his wheelbarrow even when it was only half full of basalt rock. With the finish in sight, Rodrigo collapsed from exhaustion on the 48th day of construction. However, because he feared he would lose his job and be replaced with a migrant worker, Rodrigo refused to give up. Relying on pure adrenaline, he resumed working just 6 minutes after regaining consciousness. At this point, his years of experience building stadiums for the 2012 World Cup were crucial as he pushed through his pain and on-site injuries.
Olympic stadium construction is as much about mental strength as it is physical. Rodrigo managed to complete his work in 1,334 hours, just barely under his 8-week target. While our measurements show he lost 19 pounds and now suffers from cardiac arrhythmia, he earned over $1,700 for his work. But we have yet to pay Rodrigo any of his wages, which is why he's been protesting outside of our offices every day. For the Onion Sportology,
That wasn't as funny as it was supposed to be. Hold on here. Okay. Some of these I got to sort through that are sent to me to make sure that they're actually worth watching.
Weeble.
As Brooke Alvarez takes a small rest from the pressures of the Fact Zone, please enjoy this rebroadcast of this morning's episode of Today Now.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready for summer as well, for sure.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Today Now.
Welcome to Today Now.
Oh, and wow, what a morning it's been already. You know, I woke up lying on the bathroom floor this morning. Had no idea how I got there.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I have these bruises all over my back, too. Just tons of little bruises.
Brother, modern living, right?
You said it. Anyway, we have a great show for you this morning. Country music sensation Heath Williams is here with his band.
Oh, I love him. And our style expert, Zoe Carrill, is also in the studio. She's going to be giving us some tips on how to dress to distract from the less flattering parts of your personality.
Then in the third hour of the show, we'll be interviewing the hero rattlesnake who bit and killed an attempted rapist out in the Nevada desert.
And in the fifth hour, what to do when you've swallowed a lot of lube.
But first, let's get to some news that the entire nation has been watching lately.
Thank you,
Talking,
SR.
of course, about the search for Doug Carter. The hopes and prayers of countless Americans are with search crews in Indianapolis now, where middle-aged black man Doug Carter has been missing for 2 days.
The entire nation has been captivated by the search for little Doug, haunted by images like these of his angelic face.
Late last night, Indianapolis police issued an Arnold alert, the highway alert system that tells drivers to be on the lookout for a missing adult man.
And messages of hope have been pouring in from around the country. Carl from Lincolnville, Maine writes, "All of America is praying for Doug's safe return. A fat black man's laugh, like the tinkling of bells, can brighten any day."
So moving.
As someone who is acquainted with 4 middle-aged black men, stories like these just terrify me.
Well, all we can do at this point is to keep praying that Doug returns home safely.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, and speaking of people returning, we should mention that our segment producer, Meredith Delaney, has finally returned to work. Hi, Meredith.
Finally.
Now, I know you had that miscarriage mess to deal with, but let me just tell you right now, we were totally lost without you. So glad to have you back, Mayor. Now, of course, one of Meredith's many jobs here is running the Jim and Tracy look-alike contest we've been talking about all week. We've been getting some great entries, too. Take a look at these. Oh, not bad. That one actually sort of looks like you, Tracy.
Oh, Jim, I'm not Asian.
That woman's not Asian, Tracy.
Are you sure? Oh, she looks Asian to me.
Anyway, submit your entries on the Today Now website, and the winner gets 100,000 chicken wings.
Yum!
Yeah. Well, I'm going to head over to the set now for a really interesting business story that's coming up. But first, Tracy has a neat little segment on child rearing, don't you?
Yes, I do, Jim. You know, just because Halloween is over doesn't mean you parents out there can relax. If you're like millions of moms, you've got a child who just will not take off his costume. We've got Today Now's medical expert, Dr. Kareem Mazari, here to give us some tips on how to convince a stubborn little guy to take off his Spider-Man costume and start wearing normal clothes so people don't think he's a weirdo. And also joining us is my son, Spencer, still dressed as Spider-Man. Spencer.
Hi, Mom.
So, Dr. Mazari, how can a mother convince her child to take off his costume, especially if she's already tried yelling, telling him that superheroes aren't real, that there's no such thing as heroism in real life?
Right. It can be especially hard for children with vivid imaginations.
Or if he's just stubborn.
Sure, but it's really a manifestation of the child's desire to inhabit the life of a character that they really identify with. Now, I'm sure Spider-Man is your favorite superhero.
Yeah, because he can shoot webs like zink, ka-ping, pow.
Spencer, sit down right now.
Pow, pow.
Do you want me to yell at you in front of the entire country, Spencer?
I find the best thing to do is to try and have a dialogue with your child. Now, Spencer, why won't you take your costume off?
Because then people will know my true identity.
You're not even wearing the mask. People already
Thanks,
know
12
who
Gauge.
you are.
Appreciate you stopping by. Have a great day. See you soon.
Explain to your child.
Bargaining? Is it not enough that I say take off the goddamn Spider-Man costume? Now I've got to bargain with my own child? Jesus Christ.
You know,
Woo! Spencer, sit down. Spencer Heathcliff Gill, you sit down right this instant. Sit down. Do you want to be put in the silence trunk again? You don't like the silence trunk, do you?
Okay.
I'm Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man.
Spencer, sit down right now. Sit down, you little shit face, or I will break the rest of your toys on purpose. Do you understand me? Spencer, sit down.
Oh, I guess it's over to me already. Thanks, Trace. That Spencer sure is a cute kid, isn't he? Almost makes me wish I got to see my kids more than once a year. Anyway, I'm here with our trends expert, Carol Logan, and we're talking about a really interesting new ad campaign from Applebee's, which is encouraging customers to visit the restaurant ironically. Good morning, Carol. Good
Hi.
to see you again. Tell me about this ad campaign. It seems very cutting edge.
Well, it is. That's exactly it. They're designed to attract young people to Applebee's by inviting them to ridicule its food service and atmosphere. Here, take a look.
What do you guys want to do?
We could go to Applebee's.
No, let's seriously go to Applebee's. Look, guys, it's grilled.
It's just like my neighborhood restaurant, only completely geographically not specific.
Yeah, nothing like a wild time at Applebee's, right?
Applebee's. Wouldn't it be funny to go to Applebee's?
I like
Isn't that
it.
persuasive?
Yeah.
But, you know, they're not resting on their laurels. They're adding new menu items designed to be ridiculed outright, like the fajita cordon bleu and the chicken strip explosion.
Those sound ridiculous.
I know, but you know, so far this has been so successful that Applebee's is actually prepping a second series of ads aimed at customers who enjoy making fun of annoying young people who do things ironically.
Wow.
Oh my God. Let me make fun of your business model for my condescending amusement.
Yes, I know who the latest fans are, so I'm too cool to just eat a cheeseburger without making fun of it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Carol, thanks so much for being here. And not a lot of people know this, but Carol's my next door neighbor.
That's how I got the job.
Yes, it is. Well, moving right along now, a new study finds that 67% of obese Americans feel that they've been discriminated against because of the way they look. But when you read a statistic like that, it's hard to get a sense of what that discrimination really looks like. That's why Tracy and I decided to find out firsthand by disguising ourselves as an obese couple. We knew it wasn't enough to simply look like overweight Americans. We had to act like them, too.
Okay.
I first tried walking around on the street the same way any obese person would. Within minutes, people were already hostile, glaring and muttering at me just because of my size. I was treated like a second-class citizen.
Meanwhile, I was finding out how an overweight woman would be treated. I'll have the cheeseburger, extra fries, a milkshake, and an order of wings. If I was going to find out what it meant to be overweight, I would have to forget about the water diet I have been on for 15 years and eat with total abandon, not caring at all what I put in my mouth.
You like it, huh?
Good. Grab some ice cream and cake?
You betcha.
To my great surprise, no one was judging me or expecting me to maintain some sort of image. No one cared if I had stains on my shirt or ketchup in my hair. I was learning that life as an overweight woman is very freeing.
But out on the streets, I was getting a much different reaction. When I would barge into people clumsily like the obese always do, I would get glares and even insults hurled my way.
While I was having the time of my life, Jim was nearly arrested just for being on the street.
At the end of the day, we'd come to a realization. Fat men are tragically the most despised members of society.
While fat women are the happiest, most worry-free people in all of America. It was a truly life-changing experience.
I'll say it was. And I
All right, that's our BB safe out there, huh?
Suit all day. Okay, we have to take a short break now, but before we go, here's our Today Now trivia question of the day. What was Tracy's first job in television? We'll have the answer when we come back.
Can't wait to find out. Hey there, stranger. Welcome back to Today Now.
All right, before the break, we asked you if you knew what Tracy's first job in television was. Well, here's the answer. She played a murdered whore in the History Channel's Jack the Ripper, The Myth and Mystery.
I had to lay on cobblestones all day.
Oh, that's why you hate them so much.
Anyway, right now we have a breaking development coming in on the story of Doug Carter, the missing middle-aged black man from Indianapolis.
That's right. Indianapolis police are now reporting that they're holding Doug's neighbor, 17-year-old Stacy Williams, for questioning in the disappearance. With more, we're joined by the Onion News Network's own crusading former prosecutor, Shelby Cross. Hi there, Shelby.
Good morning to you, Jim and Tracy.
So, what do we know about this Stacy Williams?
Well, I'll tell you one thing I know about her. She's guilty.
You think she kidnapped Doug Carter?
What she obviously did. Look, we all know what blonde girls at that age are like. They're depraved sexual predators.
Yeah, you don't want to generalize.
No, Jim, Tracy, come on, let's get real. She clearly had the motivation. She's his neighbor. She probably watched him through her blinds, masturbating every time he was out in his driveway cleaning out his car trunk.
Now comes the M word.
So you really think she couldn't control herself anymore and took him?
That's the face of a rapist, all right. Look, it isn't rocket science. A middle-aged man goes out dressed like Doug Carter did. He's in his oversized cargo jeans. He's in his plaid button-up short-sleeve shirts. He's going to attract the attention of creeps like Stacy.
All right, Shelby Cross, thanks for weighing in.
You two have a good morning. I'm going back to bed.
Spencer, get down off that camera. Go play with Meredith. She loves kids.
That's cute. Hey, why don't we take another quick peek at another Today Now Look-alike contest entry. This one comes to us from Garrett in Davenport, Iowa. Oh, no, I don't think this one's such a good match.
I know. What is with all these Asians sending in photos today?
That one's not Asian either, Tracy.
Well, with all the news about bullying and teen pregnancy.
Okay, that'll do it for today. Ran out of time, so thank you guys for joining me again today. It was a good show as always, guys. I will be back here very, very, very shortly. You may not even get out of here and I'll be back. You never know. But thank you guys so much for joining us today, guys. I appreciate you very much. Like I said, I'll be back in here very soon. Secondary shoot today, guys, is we're going back to Idaho again. Guys, we're going to be looking into the alternative suspects. I'm going to be going through that document and then talking about that, as well as I want to know, well, it's going to be titled, what is the exculpatory evidence that's been omitted? I'm curious. So I hope to see you guys for that. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. For those of you that we don't see, don't forget, guys, also to love yourselves and love each other. Don't change a thing about yourselves. You guys are the beautiful people. You make this happen. I appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you to the Blue Crew for being here today. I appreciate you so very much. Thank you to anybody that chose to donate to support the channel. It's never, ever expected, folks, but it is so very much appreciated. It keeps us going. God bless. Thank you very much, and we will see you soon, folks. Bye-bye.
Life's a journey. Let's make every moment a shine. Together we share our hearts so intertwined. Each time you tune in, we're dancing in sync. With every story told, just let your soul think. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. So gather round, friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So gather round, friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. See you next time. with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you.